Now broadcasting from the Next Gen Conservative Studio in sunny South Florida, bringing you the latest in politics, current events, and pop culture. This is the Whitfield Report with Sam Whitfield.
Howdy, folks. Sorry we are a bit late starting the show. That's my fault. I got a new phone, and it's taken me a bit to get everything figured out and sorted.
He's having Apple upgrade anxiety.
Yeah, well, I'm also having carrier anxiety too.
Yeah, there you go.
Because AT&T is not really I mean, it's okay, but this whole thing with virtual SIM cards and whatnot, I'm not sure about that because it's just a long story. But anyway, glad to have Shmuley and Max here, and also a couple quick announcements. First off,
Good to be here.
I want to thank everyone for making July a great month in terms of book sales for Shadows of Deception. We launched that
the 4th.
On the 4th, and it's been a little over a month now, and I sold 22 copies in July, and I've already sold 3 copies this month without even really
I got my copy right here. Am I gonna have to buy the upgraded version, or can you just
I can just, we might be able to do a trade-in.
Well, I don't want to trade it in because I want this early copy to be signed.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I would be willing to give you
typos and all.
Yeah, see, that's gonna be worth something. It's gonna be an original early.
This is the first edition of a Sam Whitfield original novel.
Yeah, so
and get yours before the upgrade comes in, so you too can have.
So far, there's only 22, right?
Yeah.
And whatever in your guts and whatever in your soul tells you to circle the mistakes with a red pen, don't do it.
I've kind of done it on one of my spare copies. So
I find like true facts. If I'm copy editing something, the best way to do it is on paper with a red pen.
Yeah.
There's no better method. You could use the spell check and read it over, but if you really want to make sure something is copy edited right, you gotta bust out them red pens, get more than one, and just go through line by line.
Pro tip for any college guys out there, if you have a big assignment that you're working on a lot, give it to your professor specifically to give you feedback on. They'll highlight shit in a red pen or a highlighter. If you correct those things, those are the things that they're going to be looking for when they grade your paper. And if you fix it, I think that they're more likely to give you a better grade.
That is actually what I did when I was in college, and it worked out really well. Here's the thing is, people think that asking your professor for help is a sign of being retarded or whatnot, but it's actually just the opposite. Not asking your professor for help is
I just think psychologically, if you're if you're presenting yourself well and you build a rapport with somebody, they're more likely to help you out later down the road. And like I said, they're reading a bunch of papers on a Saturday night with a glass of wine. It matters where you're at in the stack. But if they're like, oh, I know this paper. Okay, he fixed the things. They're more likely to just be like, okay, you did the work. Here's a good grade, I think.
Yeah. You could guarantee a little bit of a bump in your final grade. How big that bump is going to depend.
Yeah. Well, also don't don't go to your professor last minute for help either, because they're not gonna want to help you then.
Well, okay,
But,
so what was you said announcements? Was there more than just the success of the book, the success of the show, the success
yes,
of the show too, which has been
success
doing quite well?
success of the show. So also, this is in regards to the show actually. Um, so I was debating this for a while because of the circumstances of our channel ban, but on YouTube, but I officially bit the bullet and made a clips channel for the Whitfield Report, which is simply Whitfield Report clips, all one word. Now here's the thing, because I know people want us to do live streams on uh YouTube. I still may will do that every once in a while, but given how
Oh, so you found somebody to run a channel for you.
yes,
That's great. Yeah. No, I think
but
putting the content there can't hurt.
yes, but even
But we don't
so,
rely on it anymore. If you guys rely on it, if you're like a fan and you want shit on YouTube, maybe just switch to Rumble. Maybe make the jump sometimes. And there's some other shit that you probably, if you listen to us, you probably watch some other shit that's on Rumble too. Just saying. But
yes,
it wouldn't hurt to have our content over there. I'm just saying, like, if you are the person asking for this, maybe take the jump over to Rumble. Maybe make an account, drop some comments over here. You'll get noticed because you'll be the only one. A lot of people don't make an account. I know they watch the show and they don't say anything or even leave a like in a lot of cases. It's because a lot of them don't have accounts. Make the
yeah.
account. Make the account.
And look, also be a little patient too, because Rumble is still newish, but I do have to say, for all of the glitches that Rumble has, YouTube also has glitches. Like, this is my favorite thing, is people think that like Rumble chat has glitches, but so do YouTube chats. Honestly, the only
Rumble reminds me of YouTube circa like 2014. It's rough around the edges. It's got some shit right. One thing I'll say is they got polls embedded at YouTube now, right? That took a long fucking time.
yeah.
Because I remember Stream Me, which was this offbeat streaming site, had that shit. Twitch had that shit. YouTube, it was like press 1 in chat. Oh, everybody press 1 in chat. I hate that. I hate that. So you just make a poll.
I miss Stream Me, honestly.
I did too. I did some of my best work over there, and it's a shame, but I even was willing to, like, I was talking to the guy that owned the thing to try and work a business proposal to where I could purchase the code.
Oh, what? Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, but he wouldn't do it. Like, I wasn't the only one. A couple people approached him because I'm like, I would do this. I would just leave it the way it was. Basically, I'll buy the domain. I'll set it up, get some investment because it's a streaming site, and it would have been an okay business. He didn't want to run it because there was weird Kiwi Farms people threatening his children.
Yeah, well, that'll.
I think I think they were like, they're not like necessarily from Kiwi Farms or post there, but they're the kind of people that obsess about what they talk about over there. If that makes more sense.
Yeah. Well,
and they sent like pictures of this guy's kids to him, and he said, "I'm just gonna shut it down," because it was losing money on his end. But that's because it was like a tertiary business to him. It was a thing he said, and that's why it was free speech. Is he was like, "Oh, I want to have uncensored streams." He wanted edgy content. He didn't think it would get as edgy as it did. He got infested with like white nationalists and all this crazy wild stuff. But that's the internet. You're gonna get that. And he did, and it was more than he could bargain for, and I don't blame him on that. But for a while, that was like the only alternative, and then it was gone, and all the Rumble it has rules, right, that are similar to YouTube in like 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
The thing is, a lot of people break the rules. That doesn't mean that there's not rules, though. That means that their moderation isn't like stepped up yet. And so my advice to any aspiring Rumble streamers is don't push the line too far, because you're likely to be the test case that gets yourself banned.
Yeah, and yeah, and we know at least a few people that where that's the case. Perhaps. Um,
Yeah, you don't
m-
want to be doing
m-
them copywritten songs and stuff.
more
We're
more
into original content here at the Whitfield Report.
Morpheus says I watch all the shit on Rumble. And yes, he
Yeah.
does because he sends links in our group chats to Rumble, so I can attest to that. Island Photography says I love Rumble. It's sad they sold out to Kushner. I don't know about that. But
I don't know what that means.
yeah, I don't know what that means either. Odyssey and Telegram are the best. Odyssey is
so I like Odyssey, but Odyssey's lane and what it excels at, and people aren't gonna like this, but it's true, is nerd shit. Like hardcore nerd shit. Like Scott Manley I go to Odyssey to watch him now because he used to be huge on YouTube, and he's got this like really entertaining, but it's science shit. I watch a lot of computer shit on there. I watch a lot of shit about security and cybersecurity shit. That's what Odyssey excels at.
I noticed that because I end up using YouTube because it has value outside of like politics.
Yeah.
Like I could watch my news and Sticks, Hex, and Hammer or whatever, but like there's just a plethora of people who will like make a video about science or make a video about tech, and they'll put it up on YouTube, and like you could encourage a lot of those people not to, but they're just gonna do it because they know about chemical reactions and not about fucking YouTube, and YouTube works perfectly fine in their view.
But what I'm saying is you'll find a lot of that kind of shit
on Odyssey.
On Odyssey that doesn't get promoted by YouTube's algorithm either, which is why
that's
you'll
what
actually
that's what I was going to say, is that what's interesting is these sort of alternative tech sites like Odyssey will have like a vibe where it is a lot more techie, intelligent people. And then like BitChute is great for like the weird side of YouTube kind of stuff, the wacky sort of schizo conspiracy thing. And then Rumble,
and by that you mean like the way over the top conspiracy shit. Because you'll find the craziest shit on BitChute. If you're into just like schizophrenic, like nonsensical documentaries about the most inane autistic bullshit you've ever seen that go on for 5 hours about not like some obscure general from World War II and how it relates to Jewish influence in Hollywood. If you want to watch something that insanely out there,
well,
there's like 30 of those on BitChute's front page.
They're shape shifting, man. They're fooling the masses.
Yeah, man.
Like you could find that. It's so amazing. I really do love BitChute because it does fill that sort of like weird side of YouTube circa 2014.
I find a lot of interesting goons on BitChute under tags like gang stalking or targeted individual, right? Because that's where all the schizo, because they can't do that on YouTube anymore because they all have like conspiracy theories that have now gone into the realm of shit you're not allowed to talk about on YouTube. And for whatever reason, a lot of them found BitChute, probably because it was an early like alternative and it lets you say whatever, basically.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell.
Yeah, so Island photographer said that Jared Kushner negotiated with Rumble to suppress anti-Semitic jokes. To get Trump, Rumble said yes. I mean, if that's true, that's kind of been their terms of service from the very beginning. as far as I'm aware.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I checked Rumble's. I've been streaming on Rumble since before most people heard of it, and the first thing I did is check their terms of service, because you have to these days if you're going to stream on a platform and you're worried about censorship, which I have always been.
Yeah.
And they one of the first. I think Article 1 of like the Code of Conduct is like no hate speech.
Yeah, and I mean,
they're just lax about enforcement, but if people want to make it a fucking big thing, they will start enforcing it. Like that's
Well,
yeah.
look, they're more lax than these other websites who are like going out of their way. They kind of seemingly have more of a thing of like, what would the average person consider hate speech? Like the average normal person, rather than like a blue-haired feminist.
They're not shrieking and pulling their hair about what's hate speech, but yeah, people do want to push the line on that, and they're not gonna side with you saying whatever you want. I can promise that. Not Rumble. Odyssey might, and I like Odyssey for that reason. See, I'm a believer that you should just be looking at multiples of these sites. Why should you just be like only one and one only?
Okay, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Kick seems all right too.
I mean, Morpheus does ask, does Rumble always define hate speech? I think they do. I mean, the thing with
they do have like a more specific definition of hate speech than YouTube's, but it's still not specific enough for my taste.
Yeah, I mean, they're alerting. The problem is Gab is a perfect example of this. Gab just let the floodgates open wide. So the anti-Semites basically all ended up over there, and
they end up being some of the biggest accounts because of that.
Yeah.
And then if a bunch of normies move in, which happened with Gab, I think it was a bunch of like normie, like Christian conservatives that were getting banned on like Facebook went to Gab. There was like this mass exodus of Facebook boomers onto Gab, and they mingle with all like Andrew Anglin and people like that. And because they're the biggest accounts over there, right?
Yeah, and that's
it becomes a bit of a feedback loop. I mean, if you're into Anglin and that brand of stuff, that's fine. I'm not a believer that it shouldn't exist or that you shouldn't be allowed to say it anywhere. But I think if you want a respectable platform, you're gonna keep a guy like Andrew Anglin off of it. That's just like for business reasons alone, like not even from this woke perspective, but like I'm not saying he shouldn't have a platform. I'm just saying that not everybody has to give him one.
It's not even so much that what a lot of these companies need, because listen, there are views that I don't hold that I think people should have, people should be allowed to say stuff even if we don't agree with them.
Of course.
But here's the thing. I do think this is what Minds has done, and I think Minds does it pretty well, and this is what Elon is.
I think Anglin's allowed over on Minds too.
Well, so here's what Minds does. Minds' algorithm is kind of like, okay, we won't censor you, but we'll place you in kind of this Wild West part of Minds.
Well, it's the same thing Odyssey does. Odyssey, if you label it, I didn't realize this at first. I was marking my streams as adult content because I swear and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And watch like obscene things, and even like Dice Golden saying racial slurs on YouTube. Nonetheless, we're worried about what can people say on all platforms, but some people get away with it right on YouTube.
Yeah,
for years on end. But regardless, like I figured I was adult content, right? But adult content, they mean porn and gore. And what they do, if you mark yourself as adult content, is they put you outside of the Odyssey app into the library section. So only people with a direct link to it can see it. And I didn't realize this for the longest time, and I couldn't figure out why is Odyssey streaming not working right. It's because I marked myself adult only, and it thought I was porn.
Well, I mean,
It's
in a
because of
sense-
that
I'm used
sultry
to-
voice.
I'm used to YouTube where everything's got to be, oh, you're not for kids, right? And like, no, I'm not for kids.
Your points with that sultry voice were orgasmic. That's why.
That's it.
Yeah.
But no, I think that it's important that basically everyone be able to have a platform. And I'm not sure. I mean, if Andrew Anglin or any of these other guys are like blacklisted without even having an account on Rumble, like without even being given a chance to like obey the terms, I feel like that's a little bit.
That's cartel shit, or like what they did to Alex Jones, where they all ban him on the same day, and they're like, we weren't talking to each other. That's cartel shit. You damn well were talking to each other. All right.
Yeah.
You all conspired with the fuck. Like, this is the problem with Alex Jones is y'all prove him right about the stupid shit, and so, or the shit that's like easy to prove, and then people believe him about shit that's insane because of it.
Yes.
You actually conspired all together to suppress a man for saying some dumb shit about Sandy Hook, which he actually now says, I don't believe anymore.
Yeah.
All the same day, same time. Oh, he's just banned from YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and fucking Vivo and you know what I mean? Like fucking any platform you can name all at the same time. They just all decided that day that he broke the rules. And then you're like, oh, he's also banned from like 6 platforms he was never on. Huh, that's interesting. What rule did he break? Existing?
Island said how they did Owen Benjamin too. Okay, well, Island, let's be real. Island has known me since the Owen Benjamin saga.
Hold on. I don't know Owen Benjamin, so I'm gonna ask honestly. Did multiple companies all the same day ban him?
No. Did
they ban him all at around the same time?
Yes, but here's the
I don't
thing,
think that's right.
No, but here's the thing with Owen, right? Owen was pretty much,
as far as I can tell, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
I'm just saying if they did him dirty, they did him dirty.
Well,
right? And then Fuentes parades around like they did Fuentes parades around like they did him dirty, and turns out they never did. Right, but there's guys they actually have done dirty to. I'll say to some degree they did dirty to Mike Enoch.
Well, okay, right? so here's my question though, because here's what happened to Owen from my perspective. He was basically like saying the end. He was basically doing everything he could to get banned.
Sure.
And then when they finally banned him, he was like. He was acting like, I can't believe they banned me. This is outrageous.
Sure,
and
it's a grift. I'll cop that it's a grift. But even if it's a grift, they fell for the fucking grift by doing him dirty, right? If that was his grift, if his grift was I'm gonna be so foul that they all ban me, it gets my name out there, and fine. But they did him dirty. And proved his point, and that's probably why we're talking about him right now. Honestly,
sure. Well, sure, but like, I mean, you can
admit that they've done a piece of shit dirty. It's okay.
I agree with you.
Oh, sorry.
My thing though is a little. I mean, I agree with you to an extent, but it's also like, well, you did kind of dare them to ban you, and so like even if it's kind of like to me it's the equivalent of going up to like a bear, right, and like daring it to like rip your arm off or something, and then when it finally does rip your arm off, you act shocked that it ripped.
You shovel shit. And it comes back to fucking bite you. That's true.
Yeah.
Like, Alex Jones shoveled his fair share of shit over the years. so you could make the same argument for him. I'm not like, I don't endorse everything Alex Jones has ever fucking said for sure. And actually,
Right.
I hear a lot more people say that they think he's right about shit that I don't even agree he's right about. Right. But I can sit here and say that despite any disagreement I have with Alex Jones, they did him dirty. And if all the big tech companies were like, this one guy needs to go, I say that was fucked up. They did that to Mike Enoch. They've done it to Andrew Anglin in ways that's fucked up. They took the Daily Stormer basically off the clear net completely, his website. Right? They've done it to Kiwi Farms now. Right?
Yeah, attacked the domain.
I'm not saying I agree with these people. I'm saying like the whole point of the First Amendment is that unpopular speech needs to be protected, not popular speech. Everybody agrees the puppies are fucking cute or whatever. Everybody likes little kitten pictures. That doesn't need to be protected. No one's coming after that. Right? And so while I disagree with the Nazis or whatever, right? If you don't protect their speech, at what point is it coming for you too? Now, that's within the fucking realm of the law and like respecting people's private property rights. But when they conspire all at once to take one of these people out, every time they do that and you look the other way, you could be the next one. Right? You might just be too edgy for the new line that they've now made after they've had like what we could equate to like a social media execution of these people. They're unpersoned. That sounds like some China shit to me. I don't know. maybe I'm old school.
It's literally the Soviet purges. I mean, this stuff has a history, and it wasn't just Soviet Union. You know, you can go read, Communist Party USA stuff from the time. They were really big fans of canceling each other back then.
And Island Photographer says Owen gets cash in the mail just to say his fans aren't gay. He has a rule: if they don't send money, they are gay. His grift is hard. Yeah, like they gave him the grift. That's the thing I'm trying to say, is they handed this guy a grift to a group of people who aren't smart enough to see the grift and who gets ever shrinking. And it always, because they're edgelords already, it always becomes an edgelord pissing contest where they're all trying to out edgy the next guy.
Now,
and it always devolves into shit full of feds, full of fed posting, full of people doing stupid shit, people committing crimes. You get connected to this, that, and the other. The next thing you know, you're America first.
Yeah. Which
now I want to just say before we move on to the next point that Owen getting cash in the mail to prove that his fans aren't gay is hilarious. Yes. I just wanted to state that that's really fucking
that's
funny.
Why I wanted to read the comment, because that's funny as fuck. Because yes, if you're a fan of his and you don't send him money, you probably are gay. That's true.
Yeah. Well, Porcelain did a very good documentary on Owen Benjamin a few years ago that I thought was great, honestly.
Yeah. No, look, everything you've ever said about Owen Benjamin, I trust that you believe. I'm just saying, if somebody gets done dirty, they get done dirty. And if because Chris Cantwell got done dirty, and I hate that motherfucker.
Sure.
That motherfucker went after my wife and my child on air to his weirdo fucking fans, right?
Yeah.
Ranting about us. And I will still say that the Charlottesville stuff, he kind of got done dirty. And then he went and screwed himself over. And I love that, like I've said now, there's a couple of people using this now as a defense. It's the Cantwell defense. Well, they were mean to me on the internet, so everything I did was okay, you see?
Yeah, it's
and it has, by the way, it has a 0% success ratio, the Cantwell defense. I wouldn't use that. I did the thing you're saying I did, but it's because people on the internet were mean to me. Doesn't work in court. Even Chris Chan, it didn't work.
Well, and I mean that's pretty much the thing that that's the thing that that's similar to Ethan Ralph's like everything is fair game,
Right.
approach, right? Like that's his literal argument is that, they did me dirty, so life ruination is on the table, pretty much, basically.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and then that doesn't fly in court, is all I'm saying. Federal court, right? Christopher Cantwell versus, or the United States versus Christopher Cantwell. This is precedent now. Okay? You can't retaliate against people in a way that's illegal because they made memes of you on the internet. There is a case precedent for this, okay? So just because somebody's mean to you and makes fun of you on the internet doesn't mean you get to make criminal threats and say, what did he say? He said he was going to rape the guy's wife or something like that.
Yeah, it's weird. Speaking of Nick Fuentes,
he did years in jail for that. And under the defense that making memes of me, right? They made memes of me, so it's okay. He spent years in federal. Just I want to make this clear. That's not a defense. That's not a defense in a court. That's an admission, actually. And that's how a jury will take it. And that's how they took it in his case, because they deliberated for like 10 minutes. He's like, I did it because they said they made parody songs about me, and they put gay pornography on my website, and he introduced a picture into the evidence, and it was a picture of him fingering his own butthole that he posted on the internet years and years ago. And yes, they did. He let them have access. He let them write articles on his website, and he never took away their access, even when they.
Wait, this is Chris Cantwell?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were talking about. No, seriously, like I'm not even joking. I thought you were talking about Ethan Ralph for.
No. Cantwell's great. So they put the picture of him fingering his butthole up on his website because he never took access away from them. And so they put this picture of him fingering his own butthole he put up on a dating website years ago. Right?
Oh God.
Laying fucking spread eagle on a bed. And the tasteful one, if you go looking for it, I think it's on Kiwi Farm still in the Cantwell thread, but the tasteful one has a V for Vendetta mask over his dick and butt, right? But they put the real one, the unedited one, up on his website. And so he introduced that into evidence in federal court, right? And he said that it was gay pornography. So what he's saying then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is that Christopher Cantwell, renowned crying Nazi and enemy of yours truly years and years ago, who I mostly forget about, but every once in a while it's funny to bring him up, is legally in court a gay pornography actor, which means when I said years and years ago, I said 100% Christopher Cantwell is gay, is now a matter of public record in federal court.
That is kind of hilarious.
It's a good setup for a joke anyway, but the punchline is that he is legally gay. and even after doing that to himself in public in federal court and acting as his own attorney in a case as well and making a fool of himself and losing millions of dollars, he's a free man these days as far as I hear. But he spent time because he thought that they made memes and parody songs of me as grounds for basically whatever the fuck you want. And that doesn't, that's not how the legal system operates, especially when you're already an infamous neo-Nazi guy or whatever.
Speaking of crying Nazis, this was interesting. So, Nick Fuentes went on Valuetainment this week. Did you guys see that?
I see what you did there. No, I did not see that.
I was expecting Sam to just start crying. That would have also been funny.
Yeah, but Nick Fuentes crying Nazis. I get it. I get it. That's good. I did not see the show that you're talking about. I heard about it. How bad was it?
Okay, so to be fair, it wasn't bad per se.
Did he get roasted?
Yeah, he got roasted, but here's the thing. They gave him, in my view, a pretty fair hearing.
Mm-hmm.
They let him basically say what he was going to say. He said some retarded shit about
did he do the age of
women not
consent
being
thing?
able to vote,
Oh
and
my
basically
God.
like a lot of this
This I hate this He-Man woman haters club shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he basically got called out. He basically got called out on it, you
If
know.
we got any artists in the audience, somebody draw fucking America First as the Little Rascals.
So basically he got called out by I'll have to look the guy's name up real quick.
Is
But
Fuentes would be Spanky, right? Or what's the one with the hair sticking up? That's him. That's Fuentes.
I don't know. Spanky would be
Alfalfa. That's his name. Alfalfa. Yeah, Fuentes is Alfalfa.
Spanky would be a hilarious name for Fuentes though.
And Beardson's buckwheat.
Considering that but no, he got let me pull this up on Twitter.
What are we pulling up? A Twitter. I don't even know. There's no Twitter except if you go to twitter.com.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my bad.
I'm going to call it Twitter till the end of time. And I think I've earned that fucking right because I've been a fucking Twitter blue since they fucking opened it up. And if you fucking look in my bio, the one thing about my bio that's notable is I joined in October 2008. So I've been on Twitter a long fucking time.
Yeah.
You remember when Spaces was gonna kill Twitter? Remember that?
No, actually, I like or Threads or whatever. Gab.
Oh yeah, whatever nonsense it was that Mark Zuckerberg started.
Parler was gonna be the new thing.
Look, little Donnie, I'm gonna go to Threads.
I hate to say it, but Truth Social, Trump, if he's got like an exclusivity deal, I get it. But Trump should tweet something. Just one tweet. This is all I'm asking for. I know. Let me address the big man. I know you've given me so much, and you still take slings and arrows every day. But if there's one wish that you could grant this loyal fan who has supported you long before anybody else did, and will continue to support you until you prove me wrong, which I don't think is going to happen. You know, it's for that. Just that one thing. Make one tweet. Just one tweet. And it can just be hello. Because it's going to blow the media. It's going to blow up Twitter. Maybe his exclusivity deal. Oh my God! You guys want to hear the big brain 40 chess like it's 2016 plan that could be going down? Maybe his exclusivity deal said that he could not tweet on Twitter, and he talked to Elon Musk, and Elon's like, I wanted to change the name anyway, and so he's now changed the name and what it's called to post on the website. I'm just saying it's possible that could get around some of these exclusivity agreements.
Maybe. Well, that is one thing I wanted to
That's my coat post. I get one.
That is one thing I wanted to talk today in regards to
you know what he should tweet too, right? He should tweet #Gamergate2. Sorry, he should post #Gamergate2.
Yeah. So, in regards to X/Twitter, so listen, we talk at Trump witch hunts all the time. It gets boring.
Was there more
Somewhat.
this week? I wasn't really paying
Yes.
attention.
There's more. This one is actually fairly interesting because basically they tried to get access to Trump's Twitter account that was banned. They even wanted access to his drafts folder of the tweet drafts. That
Jesus
he
Christ.
and so Ed Krasenstein was actually like talking about this, and was saying, well, Twitter should just give it to them. And I quote tweeted today, and let me actually read this. Oh hey, we are live on Twitter too, by the way.
Live on X.
Live on X, which by the way, Morpheus and I have both made the joke that is Twitter video now called X videos, which for those who don't know, X videos is a porn site. So
Yeah. Get them X videos rolling out, gentlemen.
yeah. So but let's see where.
Well, and Twitter's always allowed porn, so I don't expect that to change. There will be X videos for sure on Twitter.
No, it would be funny if X videos, the company, actually like got into contention with X over this, if they haven't already. But okay, so where's my okay. Let me. The one thing I don't like about this Melt Talk Studio thing is even after you screen share, I still have to manually bring up the screen on the control panel here. It's weird, but whatever. Okay, so Ed Krasenstein.
Hold up. I'm going to speak for the audience that's inevitably going to say, get OBS.
Yeah. Well, actually, I now have a computer that can handle OBS. Or I should say, I have like a 60.
It's not hard.
I have a 64 gigabyte GPU now for memory. So
I could get you set up on OBS. It runs on anything, and it's real easy to fucking do.
it ran on my laptop before. The thing is it would just kick on my fans like really hard. So, but anyway.
Yeah.
So, can you guys see this my screen?
I can.
Okay. So, Ed Krasenstein, who, by the way, I know people hate the Krasensteins, and I disagree with them on a lot of shit, but they've been very generous to Genius Anus and I, at least as far as like allowing us to participate in their in their Twitter/X spaces. And they both follow me. So even though I disagree,
but you're disagreeing publicly too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's what I've been saying all along. That's why I was bringing up like with the Ice Cube and Tucker interview. That's the exact kind of conversations we should be having.
Well, but I do, but
because there's more we can agree with like old school leftists and shit than we can you know what I'm saying, than with these rabid fucking communist people at the very least.
Yeah, but people ask me like, why are you so friendly with the Krasensteins when they disagree with everything you know? And it's like, well, because they've been civil to me, so why wouldn't I be civil to them in return? It just makes
no, it's the internet age. We have to constantly sling shit at each other and say the most edgy shit possible for attention.
Right. I keep thinking we live in a civilized age, but I guess I'm just old fashioned. But
Yeah.
anyway,
There's a lot of that going on here at this show.
so Ed tweeted out something in response to someone because someone was asking about Trump's Twitter drafts, right? And he said, that's another interesting take. Perhaps he was trying to see the drafts. I wonder if they just get full access to everything. I assume they did. So what this is referencing is, I guess, one of the prosecutions for Trump's case in regards to January 6th. The prosecutor wanted Trump's drafts. And so I said, what would tweet slash post drafts mean? Why would tweet slash post drafts mean anything, Eds? I'm sure that if someone were to go through unpublished drafts of anyone's tweets or posts, they could find something suspicious or bad looking without context.
Yeah, it's digging through the trash.
This just seems
it's literally digging through the fucking trash. You're spot on. You know, you want to dig through it. You want to sniff every fucking pair of underwear he's ever worn. You want to fuck like, come on, it's garbage. They know it's garbage. They're just dishonest, and I'll include. You know, I don't have any such interactions with him, so I'll include him here. He knows that this is like digging through someone's garbage to try and pin the fucking felony on the orange man. Okay, that's the game that they're playing. I've just been saying from the beginning, right? I hear all these fucking doomers and gloomers and everything else. We should be playing by the rules that are set. Why haven't they impeached Biden? I said we should impeach him day one just because I said the next fucking Democrat president should get impeached day one because that's the game we're playing now. But you see, what happens is like the unipartists in Congress are a bunch of pussies, right? That don't stand for anything except special interest groups. And we fight amongst ourselves among who's the most right and the most edgy.
They
all laugh.
I guess here's my other point though, Max,
Beautiful.
is in
if
a weird
think about it.
In a weird
Much
way,
better to be on top at least.
In a weird way, I feel like they're not even trying to really prosecute Trump. Like, if you're going to try and prosecute Trump for something, at least come with something actually substantial and try and make a case.
That's if you could get something substantial. This is the problem that they had, right? Because they wanted to prosecute him from day fucking one of him getting in office.
Yeah,
they've been looking for. They dug through the dirtiest of dirt. They believed the Pissgate shit. They fucking followed the rabbit hole. They followed the Mueller investigation breathlessly. Every day the walls are caving. The thing about Trump, you can hate, you can like, you can be, you could think whatever you want about Trump. The thing about Trump is his hands are clean. That's why they had to go this route. Because if his hands were anything but clean, with the amount of media attention that this man received, probably more than any in human history, just because of the sheer volume of fucking people that were exposed to all of it on social media and things, was put through like the ringer in the worst way possible. And they couldn't find absolutely anything. They impeached him twice, couldn't get anything fucking done out of that. They had all their stupid January 6th hearings. They had all of this fucking shit. And all they can come up with is like 70 paperwork violations that are probably not even him who filed them. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Imagine though, Max, this does kind of tie into my book. Because...
And then the flip side has Hunter Biden, again, as I've pointed out a couple times now, blowing fucking blow off an underage hooker's ass in a video while he's having sex with her on camera and being like, hey, send the big guys $10 million at the same time while he's waving a fucking check from an oil company in the Ukraine in one hand. Trump, he did that paperwork wrong in 1975. You know what I mean? He took home a fucking letter that he wrote.
or I have another one, Max, specifically related.
Funniest of worlds, my friends.
I have another one related to can you hear me? Or I feel like we're doing the talking over each other.
Yeah, my headset died for a second there. I apologize.
Okay. Yeah, it was like we were doing amateur YouTube stuff there for a sec. We were talking over each other. It's great. But no, what about, so this is a point that I find hilarious, right? Everyone's flipping out about, oh, Trump took home classified documents from, that were vital to national security. And it's like, okay, well, if you're going to go after Trump regarding that, let's just say that he did do that. I'm so sick of hearing people complain at whataboutisms, because in this case it is true. If you're going to go after Trump for bringing him classified documents, what about Hillary fucking Clinton? She literally had a whole private server of classified documents that wasn't even password protected.
You know what about her? She's doing a touchdown dance in the end zone. Is what about Hillary Clinton?
I mean,
she is.
Yeah.
Go look at her fucking Twitter. She's happy as a fucking pig in shit right now, because it's the same thing that she was actually doing. They're trying to pin it on the guy she fucking lost to.
I mean, listen, I tried to avoid Hillary's. I would rather look at Ethan Ralph's Twitter account than
she's having a happy time. I'm sure she's having much wine.
Listen, I would rather like be friends with Mersh than like look at Hillary Clinton's Twitter account. That's how bad, that's how much I despise Hillary.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, if you guys are gonna go after Trump for, taking him classified documents, then again, what about Hillary? Oh, that's right, you guys made a special exemption.
But here's the joke on that. They don't, most of the Democrat establishment, I'm not talking about the fringes, the people we look at and laugh at, like the weirdos protesting in the streets. I'm talking about the DNC, right? Wouldn't give the slightest shit if Joe Biden got impeached, because they don't want him to run again anyway.
No,
but his stubborn old ass isn't gonna back down on that, because he's stubborn and Irish and old. So he's like, I'm fucking running, whether you whippersnappers, like, it's like taking the keys from grandpa, right? But the problem is that the Democrat Party is a bunch of soy boys, and they and grandpa's at least got a set of nuts. Like, when you can say a lot about Joe Biden, but he's still got a set of nuts for a Democrat, which is rare these days,
No, I mean, in a way that, like, I don't like Biden, but I do find him amusing for that very reason. It's just because Biden
he gets mad. Like, the modern Democrat male's not supposed to do that, right? You're supposed to let the woman speak.
Yeah, but also
Joe Biden's over there licking his ice cream cone, being like, yeah, Jack, I'll fuck those Republicans up. You bring them on. I'll whip them with a belt, brother. At least he's got that going for him.
I feel like they are at least trying with the Dark Brandon memes. They're not good, but they're better than the Hillary Clinton.
The Dark Brandon memes, I'll at least give them capture more of the essence of Joe Biden. And they're good. They're actually good, but they're good for all the wrong reasons if you're a Democrat, because it accentuates the worst aspects of Joe Biden in the worst way possible. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, but I also kind of feel like that's done on purpose.
Sometimes, yeah.
Part of it is kind of like, what if they know that Biden's horrible and they just don't care because they hate Trump that much? That thought has honestly crossed my mind, that they know that Biden is so fucking bad.
I mean,
But
I'm the average person at least understands that economically Biden's bad because they can just take a look at their bank account. They can look at the fucking grocery bill. They can look at the electric bill at the end of the month. It's only been a couple years. They say it's not like when, oh, well, my parents when I was young had more money than I do now. That's like an abstraction to people, right? This is a very real, tangible measuring thing. Is you can be like, man, that dollar bought a hell of a lot more rice 3 years ago to feed my family.
yeah, no, you're not wrong
And
about that.
and COVID came and COVID is now gone, and that problem hasn't gone with it and doesn't seem to be going anywhere. And for a lot of people, that might be enough to vote either against Biden or not vote at all. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on people that have voted. I think there's a segment that voted for Trump and then voted for Biden. And I think that
Yeah,
they're very likely in a rematch to not vote for either one.
well, okay,
I don't know how many people that is, but I think it's like I think there is a percentage point of people that won't vote for either one of them.
well, it's interesting because a lot of normies that I know, like, and we're talking complete normies, have
Mhm.
admitted to me they're like, you know, I voted for Biden because I didn't like Trump's personality, right? He was abrasive, whatever. But I may have to vote for Trump this go around because even though I don't like him personally, fuck it. The economy is
Yeah, I
shit.
just filled up my gas tank and so fuck it.
Yeah, like I feel like and those are the people I can forgive, right? For I mean, it's not even so much that like I was mad at them. Like, look, I mean, I am partially, but like I don't know. It's
There's a segment of people, okay, that didn't feel touched by the Trump economy at all. And that segment is like the most working class segment because their wages kind of stagnated. They had maybe a little more pocket money than previous, but it wasn't a huge effect.
right.
And so like those people, a lot of them aren't tied to either one, and they're economically they're just like we're in the shitter, and they kind of blame both of them. And there's a point to be made about some of that. Certainly, Trump spent quite a bit during COVID at the very beginning, not nearly as much as Biden has spent. Biden has spent infinitely more, but they're not wrong in that we can't spend our way to fucking a future forever. That's why we have inflation problems, and then also the craze to raise the minimum wage, which raises the average price of everything because the companies have to compensate for what they're paying their labor now, pass it on to the consumer, prices go up, so that the raising the minimum wage actually keeps it about the same, maybe worse.
Well, yeah. No,
People feel that shit, but sometimes a little bit of one of those hot button issues they love to throw out is what stirs people the most. And you ain't gonna find economic prosperity through either side of the culture war, to be honest with you.
yeah. I mean,
Not at least in its most extreme forms of either side, right?
right. Well, that kind of brings me to my point to one of my points about Vivek Ramaswamy. Why I like him is if he does end up as Trump's VP nominee, which is looking very likely, Vivek is what Mike Pence should have been all along, basically. Because ideologically they're very similar, but personality wise, they're different enough. And I think that like this is what I was saying last week that like Vivek is Trump without kind of the perceived rough edges, right?
Well, so Pence was a pick to appeal to like the normie evangelicals of the time.
Yeah,
People kind of forget that about Pence, but that's why he got picked, was because Trump was the outsider, so he picked somebody the insiders all thought meh about, but not somebody they all liked, right? Because he was kind of new, but he had all the right evangelical opinions, okay? And that's why he got picked. I don't think Trump needs to appeal to that because he took the party over. Now it's a more MAGA friendly party. He can pick whoever the fuck he actually wants. He's not having to appeal to, like, okay, I need the evangelical Christ cons. My God, that's his biggest demographic, with or without Pence, right?
right.
In fact, they don't like Pence anymore.
No.
And so, yeah, Trump is gonna pick whoever he thinks. I think he's gonna do it the way he generally hires people. And if you followed him long enough, like, if a lot of people might followed him long enough to the reality show, and he really valued competence on the show, but also, like, he was smart at staffing the show and framing the show in a way that made him this big shot that you'd actually want to listen to, because he actually was, and he wrote books about business, and he knows what he's doing. So if you just let him pick whoever he wants, I have a high confidence that that person will be fit for the role and somebody that I'd support. This time around, I was unsure about Pence, and on January 6th, I do feel like, yeah, he kind of made the wrong call, because there obviously were questions with it. And he's the reason that they basically closed the case, and now they can say, oh, well, there was nothing wrong. Because the point where you could object to it, he didn't object to it. And it's like, yeah, but you left out all the other parts. And the only way that democracy prevails, and the only way that we won, is if everything went our way and you just shut the fuck up about it forever. And I love that Trump is pushing back, and he's finally going with it again, because the stolen election is a big fucking problem that we should be talking about.
Yes.
If we can't talk about that on YouTube, so be it.
It'll be interesting. There's going to be I have a feeling a lot more people are going to move to Rumble as the election heats up.
Well, I believe Rumble is now exclusively hosting the first and second GOP primary debate.
They are.
Yeah,
that's the other thing I was going to mention. And that's good for us, because, like, I haven't really announced it yet, but I mean, I might as well. Last time we had Max and Shmuel. In fact, it was the first time I streamed with these guys ever. We had that big, I think we had a big primary panel with you and Shmuley, and I mean, Apex was hosting, and both of the Vickers stopped by, and Genius Anus stopped by as well. So I mean, I'd like to do a lot more of those roundtable commentary panels again.
yeah.
So.
I mean, as election season heats up, there's going to be more to talk about, certainly. I had one for this week in my usual browsing of news. Once again, DeSantis has made a fool of himself.
Yeah, even my stepdad, who really likes DeSantis, and I do too. We're both today talking this morning, like, yep, like, he's with me now. Like, yep, I like Ron as governor, but it's time for him to drop out.
Well, and he hasn't been in Florida the whole time.
Exactly.
He's losing in the polls in his home state, which would be career ender right there.
He had to get a new campaign manager, which that's never a good sign.
Fourth time.
Yes, fourth time. Yes.
This summer alone, because he just announced. We were saying he shouldn't announce. I said that all along. I think he should have sat this one out and not gotten any of it on him. But he's made a lot of mistakes, rookie mistakes, really, in terms of, like, staffing and messaging. The books, the anti fucking CRT textbooks or whatever ended up pissing off a bunch of black conservatives down there. whatever you think about them, like that's votes. He's losing for no stupid reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had the Black Sun meme posted by one of his staff. That was like shake up number 3, right? When he
Yeah.
had to fire all of them because he hired a round of new people, and one of them was like buddies with Fuentes or whatever, and made a fucking or reposted a meme of DeSantis with a Nazi imagery. And he was an official campaign representative, so that's not the greatest look for. I'll tell you this: if it had been any other candidate in any other race in U.S. history, that alone would be reason to drop out, because you get railroaded out of town just for that.
I am trying to find that
That's
clip
a pretty big mistake in hiring. Like, not that the meme existed or even that the guy reposted it. It's that he reposted it as a member of your team on his official account. It's like, ooh.
I am trying to find clips of Nick
Because
Fuentes.
how does that play in a general election with normies? You know what I'm saying?
Not well at all.
You think that's not going to get brought up in a debate with him and whoever? Right? Jesus. It's such a rookie mistake is what I mean. Like, he hired a guy who was way too edgy because he didn't even look into him. Because this guy, I'm not even knocking the fucking guy or whatever because I don't know much about him. But this guy has a podcast where he talks about edgy shit under his real name, right? Just like the Whitfield Report or whatever, right? Like, he talks under his real name. He says all this like over the top edgy stuff. And so it's like, I'm not even shitting on him. Ron DeSantis hired this guy when all he could have done is a Google search and been like, oh, well, here's a podcast with him and Nick Fuentes. Maybe this isn't a guy I want on my campaign right now. Right? Or have a goddamn secretary just do the cursory Googles. If you can't hire anybody without making a fool of yourself, because you gave him because like I'm gonna recognize troll game right there. Whether I agree with this guy's where he's coming from politically or not, he got into a position of power and trolled the fuck out of the system. He made a joke of it.
Yeah, well, and
you let him, Ron DeSantis. That's on you, dog.
And that does kind of prove my theory that America First is okay. So have you heard my have you heard my
hold up. He's not. I'm almost 100% sure the guy's not a member of America First. Just that he had Nick Fuentes on his podcast recently, so they're on. They have some type of relationship. I don't want to slander the guy too bad, but he it was a AF meme as far as I understand that he was reposting.
So my theory is with AF, and I've said this before, but it almost seems like America First, and this is kind of the case with Richard Spencer as well, with him supporting Trump when he did, right? Because the left has made the whole conservatives are not like the left has made the stereotype of, oh, conservatives are neo-Nazis. Like, that stereotype has been around since before I was born.
Yeah, and why is it? It's weird that isn't this one thing that they always manifest these neo-Nazi groups who then associate themselves with known and respected conservatives and try to normalize their vernacular and the things that they say and the slurs that they use and all that stuff, normalize their fucking humor, get into the big groups, and then fucking try and convince them to do fucking bad things. Why do you think that is?
I honestly
it's weird. It's a weird coincidence that this continually happens, because you can find stories of that happening in the late 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and right on up until today. Nazi groups that form and get into all kinds of foul shit, and it turns out they're full of feds. This happens every time.
Yes, well, that's essentially my theory. Is that like the far left is actually sending in these groups to sabotage the right wing or try to.
Well, no, but they encourage it, And actually who encourages it more than anything is China. Like if you look
Yes.
at a lot of the biggest like anonymous donors to all of these people, you know, on the left and the right? So like Antifa groups like Rosewood Antifa gets all kinds of money from China. So did Richard Spencer. Right.
Yes.
In his Bitcoin wallet, there's just all this money that comes from a Chinese wallet just randomly. You know, there's like 250 grand or something like that. Like, bro, anything that causes destabilization in America, China wants a piece. It's not an
Yeah.
accident. It's not a mistake. So do the feds, because this Fed wants to go undercover and convince little Billy to become a member of the White Brotherhood and do some stupid shit, and he can arrest little Billy, right? And parade him around and get a little medal pinned on his fucking chest like a big shot, right? And maybe get that promotion, and maybe then his wife might fuck him. Maybe, but probably not, because she's too busy with the bull because it's Thursday night.
So then my theory really isn't even all that crazy then, is what you're saying.
Right. I'm saying it's a combination of things. There's the edgelord pissing contest phenomenon, which is where even two people that there's no other influence. They're not feds, they're not bought out, they're not shills, nothing, right? But they both have edgy positions of some variety. They will fucking kind of, it's a man thing, it's a territorial thing. They will kind of challenge each other for who's the edgiest, right? It's a purity test. And the more edgelords you have, the bigger the purity test gets. And the more edgy subject matter that the edgelording is about, the fucking crazier the fucking test can get. That's why the craziest shit comes from like the schizophrenic shit, like Satanism and Nazi occult bullshit and all that. It's because it's so wild to begin with that if you get into the edgelord pissing contest about it, it ends really, really badly. Right? So that's one part of it. But then you get the Fed, like I say, floating around. He's trying to feel like a big man because he's a cop. You know how cops can be. Feds are the worst kind of cops in that regard. They all think they're a hot shot, and they want, I'm not even kidding, they want more funding for their brigade or whatever they call it, their fucking section of the FBI. They want more funding for their undercover ops. They want to live a big shot lifestyle. So that's what their undercover is going to be. They ain't going to be some low life, right? They're going to be a guy with a nice car. And hey, maybe you got to seduce this girl to get in, right? And all this fucking shit. They think they're a big shot spy, and they're infiltrating like Antifa or, you know, the National Brotherhood of Socialism or whatever, right? And then they're like, and then they get in there and they stay for a long fucking time. See, the Fed, just for people who are trying to spot the Fed, if you're in an edgy group, the Fed is not the guy saying you should go out and commit a crime right away. The Fed stays for a while.
Real quick, Max. I love this rant you're going on, and actually, if you could keep monologuing, I need to get a drink real quick. So I'll step away. So
how to spot the Fed? Because the Fed will say something edgy every once in a while, right? The Fed doesn't say something edgy all the time. The Fed is the guy that every once in a blue moon he comes out with the fucking crazy idea, and everybody's like, nah, that's a bit too far. And he's like, yeah, I know, but wouldn't it be crazy if we did that? You know, and then the new guy comes along. There's always the new blood. The Fed takes advantage of the new blood, right? Because the new blood's going to be the one trying to prove himself, and they don't know the fucking ropes of whatever this extreme fucking organization is. And so the new blood is going to be raring to be the big shot, right? And the Fed has already been the big shot because every once in a while he says an edgy thing and then backs off of it. So he's like, whoa, he's white. And he doesn't say much. He doesn't say much because he's fucking listening, right? He doesn't say much because he's looking at his surroundings. He doesn't say much because he's paying attention. But when he does, he says something crazy, you know? And then he finds the new blood and he says the crazy shit to the new blood, and the new blood will challenge him and step up on it. And next thing you know, all the other guys who were always telling him, nah, that's way too wild, are in court on charges of fucking doing something ridiculous. This is proven on record. There's court cases about it. You could look it up. but that's how you could spot the Fed. The Fed is not the first guy to yell out something crazy. The Fed is a little slicker than that, you know? They're going to hang around. They're going to learn the lay of the land. They're going to have a girlfriend. They're going to be so well established, right? Except that they're not from here, and they just kind of showed up 2 years ago. But ever since then, you know, he has a job at the record store, and he lives in that apartment over there, and he listens to music, and he comes in, and he's this and that. He's king shit. He knows everybody knows that guy. Just every once in a while, he says some wild shit. He's a little crazy, but that's his appeal. That's the guy you want to look for and be as far away from him as possible. Because even if you say no, he's gonna get you in some trouble. I mean, you know.
All right. So
unless you like getting in trouble.
Neat news.
No. Oh God. You got neat news?
In chicken tendy news, U.S. vegan chicken nugget brand Nowadays has announced its closure, citing an inability to secure sufficient venture funds in the current market demand. Despite performing well in direct-to-customer retail chains, the startup now faces challenges in the economics of distributing frozen food. The company's low-moisture extraction technology enabled efficient production of its pea-based protein nuggets.
Pea-based?
Yes.
Okay.
But struggled to access the necessary capital for sustained brand-to-brand and marketing efforts. The news follows a decline of the plant-based meat alternatives in the United States. Retail sales of vegan meat alternatives dropped by 12.6% in a 5-week period, with a 7.3% year-on-year decline for the year to July 2023. The decline was partially evident in the refrigerated plant-based meat case and product development. So basically, all of this plant-based nonsense seems to be going away, and good old-fashioned dino nuggies will remain. So I think this is a big win for Friends.
You're saying that the nuggie war is looking to be, you know, coming to an end.
Yeah. I mean, imagine
if real nuggies win the day. I'm saying, though, they missed an opportunity. So the nuggets were based primarily on pea protein, it said, right? So why didn't they call them pea nuggies?
That's brilliant. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I want to cite the source real quick. This is from greenqueen.com.
Oh my God, they could call them pee nuggies.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, the thing is, imagine like
because they put twice the peas in. You know,
Mom comes home and she makes you some nuggies, and you bite into those motherfuckers, and it's just peas.
It's all mushy. Oh,
just mushy
and
peas.
full of salt.
Yeah. I mean, nobody wants that. So I think this is across the board a huge win for Friends everywhere.
Yeah, certainly.
And
was there any sex doll news in Neat News this week?
No, that concludes Neat News.
Oh, okay.
Now, are you familiar with what's going on in Niger?
Not really.
Basically,
I've never been there.
They had a coup, right? And now they've essentially declared independence from France.
Uh-huh.
And Nigeria is predominantly Muslim, but their new leader is Christian, Russian Orthodox.
Okay.
And so now the Euros are trying to just...
Is he popular, or...
I don't fucking know.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's possible the Muslims might like the Christian guy at least. I mean, maybe he executes gay people or something.
He's the head of the military.
There you go.
The military took over, and
they like a strong man down there.
Well, his thing was gave them like an ultimatum. He's like, I'm gonna shut down the fucking airspace.
Right.
And France tried to strong arm him, and so he said, okay, well, we won't sell you gold or uranium, and the vast majority of uranium that powers France comes from them.
Based. So
And
okay, so hold on. So Nigeria was like, we is independent now, bitch. And France was like, no. And they were like, flex nuts. We're not going to sell you uranium.
yeah, exactly.
Based.
And yeah, so now the Euros are going to have to like invade Africa to take its resources,
Yeah, that's a good look, Europe.
which is it's so funny to me because of all of their
I've never heard this.
grandstanding.
I've never heard a story before of Europeans going to fight Africans for fucking resources before. I wonder how that'll turn out.
But of course, what they're going to say, oh, well, we just need to restore democracy. You know, Nigeria was such a thriving, brilliant democracy.
That's why I asked if the guy's popular.
I have no idea.
Because if he's popular, then fuck you.
Well, it's just like, oh, I can't hear you, Sam.
Okay. Yeah.
Crippled and muted.
So I wonder in regards to the Nigeria thing, because someone
Not Nigeria. Niger.
Yeah. Yeah, because News Network did send in a $1 thing earlier saying get the news about Niger. Or
so what do you think about this topic, Sam?
What you got to do is you got to make sure you say the name real slow so you got it right.
yes, that is what I did. Niger, not the racial epithet.
No. Why would you think that, Sam? Come on, man. We're trying to do a clean, Rumble-friendly show here.
I think that it's incredibly based. I think that it's incredibly epic that they're telling the French to get out. And when the French try to fight back, they're like, okay, no uranium for you. And now the Euros are going to have to decide whether to engage in good old-fashioned imperialism or not.
Well, listen, not just that, but I guess Niger's ESG score is terrible too. Which
Oh God.
which
Not
by the way,
ESG score.
have we? I don't remember if we've.
What's our ESG score?
Have
You think
have
it's
we
good?
talked about ESG? Because like that is the one thing with like BlackRock and all those guys that like I actually do believe is a problem.
Here's my question. Like, so when France wages a war of imperialism to steal the uranium from the Nigerians, will this increase their ESG score?
Well,
no, I'm just trying
that is
calculate ours here.
that,
So like
that
so,
is
like,
why I'm wondering though, because
I'm old and Sam's crippled, so we get a couple points there. But we're all straight and white, and like that's
and base.
Yeah. Our ESG score is probably not very high. Can we get like a base black guy to join the panel? Is that possible? That would bring us up quite a bit.
I am actually
preferably if he was gay, right? So we could really bump that score up.
Listen, the one base black guy I know, and Morpheus knows him too, that I would love to bring on this podcast is very straight. So
yeah, that's the problem. Is a based black guy is gonna be straight.
Yeah,
but hey, it could pop up our ESG score if we just had him pop on. He just has to say hi, and then he can just sit there.
Well, yeah, but
just be on camera, so we could be like, look at all the diversity that we have here.
You know what? I will.
That's how we strike it to the big time. You know, maybe we could hire a tranny to sit there on camera and not show their fucking genitals, and not say a word.
Well,
just to have it there, so we could take a screenshot, right? And we can go into these big corporate meetings, and it's like, look how diverse our show is. But we didn't have. We have to like strictly prohibit them from having their microphone active at any point.
Well, this is the funny thing, right? Is
You
like,
just need the screenshots, right, to put in a pamphlet so we can show to corporate boomers.
well, okay, so do you think that like BlackRock and the whole ESG thing is actually like a real danger?
Of course,
Because
we shouldn't have a social credit system that is a politically motivated thing. Like that's insane,
yeah,
right?
but I mean
But if
also
there is a system, I want to pimp the like Ice Cube. You know, I always bring up Ice Cube, pimp the system maybe, or use the hoe, right? So if the
yeah.
system is ESG score, we got to get ourselves a black tranny. We got to get ourselves somebody who's really. Am I fat? Do I count as fat? I don't know. I'm
Well,
like dad fat.
well, okay.
We need a fat woman, like a really like a Lizzo. Can we get Lizzo on?
Damn it. Damn it, Max, you're gonna make me call Queen. I'm gonna have to make nice with Queen Mersh now.
There we go.
Yeah,
There we go.
I'm.
No, Merch is gonna be ripped by August.
Jesse actually did a stream about that the other
Yeah,
night.
I that was what I meant.
Yeah, like
There's a
that.
parody song too that's pretty funny.
That
If you're not big on Pod Awful, at least watch the Merch parody song of Ripped by August. It's great.
yeah,
It's
that
clipped
that.
out. You can find just the fucking song. You don't have to watch the whole stream,
Well,
although it was really funny. Porcelain was on.
well, listen, I will be full at the rate that Mersh's weight loss is going. I will be able to probably like unironically walk with cybernetics or some shit. But by the time probably before he loses
Well, I've been, you know,
that weight.
the weight loss journey shit to me is dumb. Like I'm doing something like that, right?
Yeah,
But like to try and like pipe yourself up and like share it with the audience and be like, oh, I lost 5 pounds this week is dumb. And it's also counterproductive because the moment you fall off, the vultures are gonna jump on. It's
yeah,
exactly what they do to Merch. They make Merch fall off. They send him good food, right? And then they're like, ha ha, you fell off. See me, first of all, I've got this thing. It's called discipline, you know, so where I don't overeat, you can put the food in front of me. People are notable of me now. Like at parties, I'm turning down the cake. You know what I'm saying? I'm like the only adult that's like, no piece of even a tiny piece of cake, no, because I've been working hard this summer, right? It's about you, and I don't even weigh myself. I don't bother to look at that.
yeah,
You know, that hinders me. Like I weigh myself when I go to the doctor every like 6 months. You
yeah.
know, that's when I look at my weight. And if I lost weight then, then I'm done good. And I have the last fucking couple times. And I'm out there fucking busted. I was just did a couple miles before the show. You know,
That's good.
that's how you do it. You just do it. You just be because you want to. Because I don't want to be 40 and feel like shit. And I'm gonna be 40 pretty fucking soon. So you just get your ass in gear. My wife's supportive. I guess that helps if I'm not like alone by myself with my cats.
How hot? I do have to ask. How like not in your specific area, but like has it been hot where you're at this summer? Because it's been ungodly hot
It's
here.
been about the same as it usually is. It's been a little more humid than usual, but not more hot than usual. Actually, the last week or so, it's been in the 70s during the day.
Ooh, I envy you,
Been
sir.
chilling. Yeah.
It's been in the 90s, but then the feels like has been in the triple digits.
Yeah,
Um,
our hot streak was in July when I was camping and shit, but it was beautiful. Because when you're out camping, you can deal with that. You go swimming and you're just out.
not in Florida. You're
If you think that gets that much hotter down there than up here, then you haven't been up here.
well, yeah, to be fair, I haven't been there since I was like 2, so
Our
like
summers get as hot as your summers. It's just that we have winter too. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's the only real like, dude, I've been out on Cape Cod where it was over like 105. I've been I worked in a gravel pit for years, right? And the thing about a gravel pit is it turns into a mini desert. And so
Oh yeah.
sometimes there it would be like 115 in the pit because some places are brutal. Shout out to anybody that's ever done that kind of blue collar work because it's hard shoveling fucking shit in a tunnel under a fucking rock crushing plant with earplugs in so I don't blow out my hearing. That's where I got my stuff. That's why I am who I am. I'm a blue collar guy, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, look, I'm not saying that like this heat is exclusive to Florida. I get that it's hot everywhere. It's just like
No, no.
geez, it like it has been like I'm a guy who likes the heat actually, but yeah, you got to be careful. Drink
Oh yeah.
water, folks. That's a PSA. So
I got this giant jug. Most of the time it's just full of water. It's like a gallon jug, you know, and every
I
once in a while I replace it. But
I
I
do.
always keep a fucking gallon of water or juice that's mostly water based right next to me. I don't drink soda. I drink coffee, but only once in the morning. I try
Yeah,
not to do anything that dehydrates me or caffeinates me too much.
I I drink soda once a week now or so, which man, that w- that was hard. That was hard because I used to drink soda all the time in college to stay
Same.
awake, and man, it's
Well,
that
not
is
in college, but I used to drink a lot of soda when I was younger.
yeah, that is a hard one
Yeah, and
break.
it's so bad for you. Like one can of soda is actually like way worse for you than you think. That's what you're supposed to have in a day is like one can.
Yeah,
Especially if stuff like Coca-Cola, which is sugar based. It's like injecting the sugar right into your veins because it all hits at once. But you get so used to it over. This is why so many adults now have type 2 diabetes is directly correlated to soda in many studies. I won't say
I
across the board it's not universal, but most studies suggest that type 2 diabetes rise is directly correlated to the rise in consumption of Coca-Cola specifically.
yeah, I was on my way to that at like 26 and
Yeah. Yeah.
I still like it, but I just don't drink as much anymore.
I mean,
Um,
we all got our vices and shit, you know. You
yeah,
gotta do as best you can, and that shit, the soda will fuck you up. I stopped soda before my heart attack actually, but I didn't completely stop the energy drinks once in a while, you know, and you need a kick when you
yeah.
fucking work or whatever. And that I do think was a mistake because I don't do those anymore either, and I wouldn't recommend them.
I
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I use it more than I probably should. Yeah.
yeah, I've been I mean I've even like usually I like usually I like to have a beer with the show, but I haven't even been doing that as of like, and it's not really even like you know, it's not like I'm dying to go sober. It's just it's not even that appealing to me that much as it
Yeah.
was. So I'm now I'm kind of in my late 20s and there's because right when you're in your early 20s there's a thrill about like I can legally drink now. But now
There's also like this you still get that kid ability to come back from fucking anything for a while,
yeah.
which it goes away over time. If you're young, by the way, that goes away. There
Yeah.
comes a point where it starts kicking you in the ass really hard. And once you start feeling the fucking effects of the stupid shit that you do, it becomes really easy to try to stop doing stupid shit.
Yeah, and I mean it hasn't even like kicked me
Unless you
that
have no discipline at all, which is a common problem with a lot of men these days.
it hasn't even like kicked me that hard, but there was one time last year where I got super drunk and like ended up like throwing up, and it was like, geez, this isn't fun.
I had one of
Uh,
those moments. I've never drank vodka again because I drank so much. I was on the phone with, I think it was my ex-girlfriend, actually, not even my wife, which means it was ancient history. I was legal, so it was 21-ish, right? And I got this bottle of Stoli Russian vodka. I think it was raspberry at the behest of a girl.
yeah.
And we drank it. And then I called my girlfriend and like cried because I was so drunk and I didn't know what was going on. And then I threw up everywhere, or so I found out when I woke up, because there was throw up in my shoe and on my brand new shirt that I was so proud of. I just bought it was the Warrior. You know the movie The Warriors?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
had a Warriors jersey. It was so fucking cool. It was white on white, and I puked all over it and ruined it.
Imagine cleaning puke off of your wheelchair seat.
Oh no! Oh god, that
For,
sucks.
Fortunately, it's like one of those easy, things where like the material is really easy to wipe down. But even so, my mom was kind of like, well, you know, you vomited, so you got to clean it up. And I mean, I did. It wasn't like that hard, but still, it was like, yeah, that was fucking retarded on my part. I'm not doing that
Right,
again. So,
right. Yeah, no, it's one of those things, and like you gotta learn, right? And if you got a
yeah.
problem, some people get a problem. I never had one, but I've been surrounded by alcoholics my whole life.
My my uncle, my biological uncle, I mean, I've shared this story with the audience before, so it's not like I'm revealing some deep dark secret, but he was an alcoholic, a very high functioning alcoholic, and the nice
Most of them are until the end, right?
yeah, also the nicest guy you would ever meet. Like you would not think of him like as an alcoholic even. In fact, like when he died of alcoholism, like a lot of people were shocked just because,
Sure, yeah.
but like that is like one of the dangers that like I have to be careful of, because like, yeah, well, I do believe it's an individual choice.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
both
I've
my biological parents are hardcore alcoholics and at least like minor drug addicts.
yeah, so like I'm not entirely convinced that that stuff is genetic, but I do believe that some of that does have an impact on
Well,
you.
there's a
So,
discipline thing that comes internally, right?
yeah.
And maybe that's see, I think I am a product of more of genetics than people would think, even though that's the truth.
Sure.
Both of my parents are that, but they're actually both the black sheep of a fucking family that's kind of
Yeah.
well respected at the same time. So, uh, I probably have good genetics on a meta scale, and I just have shit parents. But I
Well,
had to learn this shit myself because around me growing up, Bud Light, with a boycott and everything, whatever. But this was in the 90s and 2000s, right? Bud
yeah.
Light around my house was like soda. There was
Well,
like my mom would give us Dr. McGillicuddy's peppermint schnapps shots as cough medicine when we were real little.
that's not entirely bad
I'm just saying, I grew up in a home where alcohol it
yeah.
was very casual for children, right?
Oh, yeah, I see
And
where
but also my mom was like a monstrous, violent drunk, right? So like I saw both sides of alcohol. I could see the social side. So when I started drinking, I never had any problem. I'll drink on a fucking, back in my day, I'd drink on a Friday night and then that was it, right? And then next Friday but I drink a shit ton of beer because I'm a big Irish guy.
yeah.
so So I think my record was like 42 beers or
That is
something like that.
that is my one that is my one thing is I don't like alcohol. I don't really like hard alcohol, but I do like beer. Now, ironically, the thing about the whole Budweiser thing is the Budweiser boycott has actually kind of helped me stop drinking or at least curtail it because Budweiser is essentially like water. I can at least put like a 12 pack down like in one night.
That's what I'm saying is like there was Bud Light everywhere when I was a kid because that was my mom's brand. Although
Yeah.
they switched a couple times. I remember at one point they were all about Red Dog until they found out that it was like a bum beer. But I guess they really liked the logo and they bought a bunch of merchandise.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know Sam Adams is big where you're from, obviously, but also Yingling, which is my favorite. It's my go-to. I would imagine Yingling is also a thing in your part.
Yeah, I got a buddy that was trying to get me into that.
Yeah,
I
yes.
like the Sam Adams sampler packs. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't drink very much. Like
No, well, with
a
some of
couple
those,
times a year, and I'll have a 12 pack, and so I get the variety Sam Adams. So I just did this with the summer one not that long ago.
yeah.
They were
Actually,
good too. They were all like fruit inspired, like
yeah.
lemon lime. So they all kind of went together, even though they were different varieties. It's good. It
I
was
don't
like
act. I don't actually have the video anymore, but there was one stream like from when the show was on YouTube where I did like just a casual chat Friday where I did try out like one of those Sam Adams sampler uh things and just did kind of like a Medicare style shooting shit with the chat. So
they used to have a good one in the summer pack that was cherry wheat. And that
oh
shit,
yeah, yeah.
even the girls would drink that shit. It's still beer technically, but it tastes very cherry flavored, like a malt beverage.
Yeah.
That was the one girls would steal out of the pack. See, back in the day, like I say, me and my brother and our buddies would have these big drinking and pot smoking parties. That's the thing is I come at a different lifestyle from most conservatives. I'm kind of like a rock and roll guy, literally in music and
Yeah.
fucking shit like that. So yeah, we'd have these big fucking bangers with like a lot of like independent musicians and shit and play poker and drink beer and the one drink at the big party drink has always been Caribou Lou, which is a Tech Nine, the rapper thing, which it's 151 Bacardi rum, Malibu rum, which is a coconut flavored rum, and pineapple juice.
Ooh.
And he says in the song, 2 cups will get her hot and out of her clothes, But in my experience, and granted, it's my wife's the only woman I've ever drank Caribou Lou with, but it takes 1 cup. Is all I'm gonna say.
Uh-huh.
But that shit, yeah, I had an instant where my buddy thought he was hot shit. He starts taking shots of just the 151 before we made it. Because you make it in a big jug, you mix it all together.
Oh man.
Usually we'd make smoothies with it, right? Because it's delicious on a hot summer day. We did that on the 4th a bunch of times. But this motherfucker is taking shots of it. And like he puts his hat on all dramatic, drunk like. I gotta go home. He fucking walks out. And then like 2 hours later, we get a call from his mom asking where the fuck her son is. And we're like, well, he went home like 3 hours ago. And the walk from my parents' house to his was like 60-second walk, right?
Yeah, just a few steps, right?
So we all go out in a drunken search party looking for this fucking kid and like the whole neighborhood, and we find him upside down in a bush, wriggling his fucking legs and singing the song 151 rum, pineapple juice, and Malibu, Caribou, make the ball come. And like we're just like, what do we do? He's happy here, but it was like February, and February up here gets very cold, so we fucking righted him up, walked him home. And he's like, "You guys gonna help me inside?" And we're like, "Fuck no, I ain't gonna talk to your mom right now. You talk to your mom. You just drank like 3 shots of 151 rum, you dumb son of a bitch."
Yeah. Yeah,
We had fun.
oh yeah.
Stoner Nation, shout out to Stoner Nation, Dirty White Boys, and some of the other peoples that were there.
Now see, I did the thing where I shouldn't have done this probably in hindsight, but I was like 21, 22. I got super like shit faced for New Year's Eve one year, and then according to uh according to a few of my friends, I drunk dialed a whole bunch of people to wish them happy New Year,
Right
and
on.
I guess I even proposed marriage to one of my exes,
That base.
which you would which you would think is cringe, but it was one of the ones that I was on good terms with even after we broke up with. So it was funny because she was like, "You should have done that a year ago," and I would have said yes. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. I went on crazy fucking wild adventures. I was a rambunctious fucking kid. Didn't go to college, but I partied more than most college guys. You kind of got to when you're like in the thick of like this burgeoning like independent internet music scene. It was like
yeah.
all about who you knew, right?
Well, and like when I was
And the notable fact that I'm this big hairy white boy who can
yeah.
fucking throw down some beers
Well, also like
and record your music
when
at a
I was
reasonable price.
when I was 21, and this is the other thing. Like when I was 21, like that was when 2016 happened. So like being a Trump like being like a conservative for like the first time was like it wasn't like I was just like an esoteric, kid anymore who just listened to Rush Limbaugh. Like being a conservative was like kind of like a popular cool thing because of Trump.
Well,
Like
I adopted
not that I ever really cared about that, but
I,
like
I
it
I came in an era, right, where that was the opposite of true, right? We had Bush, and I was as anti-Bush as they came. But I came to it from that Pat Buchanan, fucking Ross Perot,
right.
anti-war, the same establishment that fucking Trump came from. And that's why I knew all about Trump when he ran later. But man, when I was 21, like I graduated in 2002 and I was 19 then. So yeah, 2004. I mean, I was drinking and partying long before I was 21.
Yeah. Oh no,
I never did much besides smoke pot or drink, but I could throw down beers with the best of them, you know?
I definitely drank beer. Like actually
I actually more smoked pot than anything.
this this is this,
I've never broken the law.
I believe that. Shmuley is a fine, upstanding young man.
yeah,
And
Shmuley.
he doesn't believe in fun, as a matter of fact. He's
Exactly.
against it.
Although, like, well, the only fun that Shmuley believes in is like gamer fun because we were talking.
No, you think he has fun gaming? Have you seen him play RimWorld? He's not having fun.
I
He's
game
I
in order
wanted.
to please. I game in order to please the women that I'm with.
I
But I do it. I grit my teeth, and I think of the country.
I want to see you because we were talking before the
Have
show.
you seen him play Hearts of Iron, bro? He is not just like having fun. He is strategizing. my friend.
I want to.
Functioning on a higher level. See, this is the thing: is men, one of the things that we'd like to do naturally, right? Like a real man, is move soldiers around on a map. against other soldiers.
Yes,
That
this is true.
that's why army men toys exist for when you're a kid. Like kids naturally, boys just want to do. We just want to strategize out the war in our head for because
It
it could happen.
It never
Do you
goes
know
out.
what it's like to be waging war, Sam, and run out of cobalt? Cobalt is important for
Right.
aircraft production. With no aircraft production, you're going to run out of close air support. You run out of close air support, they got you.
There is a game that I was playing called This War of Mine that is actually really
That's a fantastic game. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, This War of Mine is actually really good.
I've given copies of that away on here. Actually, I don't have
Yes.
any more right now.
Yes,
Now,
you
the
have.
one game that I would recommend to everybody is RimWorld.
Yeah.
Incredible game. Max recommended it to me. I mean, if you're into kind of like nerdy sort of sci-fi stuff,
Building, managing a colony in a sci-fi world in very hostile conditions.
yeah, it just the little, yeah. I mean, Max is right. He's could go more into the details as far as the gameplay, but like the little Easter eggs and stuff, it's very fucking charming.
There's so much like detail in everything. Every item, every action you take, every person you make, they all have backstories and quirks, and they act on their own. You can't directly like order them to do things except for like combat.
The characters, that is.
Yeah. So you're just kind of like, hey, build this, hey, go mine that, and they kind of do what they can do.
Oh,
like,
I do.
Damn it! You ate without a table again.
Yeah.
Like they literally view like their friend dying as half as bad as they ate without a table.
Eating without a table is like the worst. And when you're new to the game, it'll take you fucking many playthroughs before you actually figure that out.
I do have Disco Elysium like on my wish list. I'm waiting for it to disc.
Yeah, it's on the. I mean, if you see, you're not a PC guy, but it's on the Humble Bundle choice. I'd recommend this month. I grabbed it immediately because there's a game called Arcade Paradise, and I played that because it came out on Game Pass, and I was like, I wish I had this on Steam so I could play it on my Steam Deck.
Yeah, no.
Now I got it on my Steam Deck.
Disco Elysium is available on Mac though too. It just released, so
Yeah, Mac. Sadly, Mac is dropped to the number 3 platform for gaming, surpassed by Linux this week. But that's because a lot of developers are dropping support for Mac, and the reason that they're dropping support for Mac is because the new Macs are not using hardware that's actually up to snuff to run the stuff that they're trying to make. Because Mac is trying to actually cut the overhead cost and make more money per unit. So, unfortunately, the next series of Macs has made it so that the current series is not being like Diablo 4 is the first in the series not to be supported on Mac. And the thing is that's fucked up. Whoopi Goldberg did a thing about this, and I hate to say this, but she was right about this one thing. Is that it encouraged her on the Blizzard launcher on Mac to pre-order Diablo 4, and she's been a fan of the series, and I believe that, right? Because she seemed legitimately angry about this. I bet you she played the other games on a fucking Mac. She's a Hollywood person, right? They're more likely to have a Mac. And she's like, she's got the launcher for Blizzard on her Mac because she plays Blizzard fucking games, and it says, hey, pre-order Diablo 4. So she does. And it turns out that she can't play the fucking game. Bro, Blizzard, are you serious?
Yeah,
that's fucked up. I hope they at least gave her fucking money back.
Yeah, Blizzard is doing a lot.
You could have at least not let her fucking buy it on a Mac. Is all I'm saying.
Right. Rockstar, I guess, is also releasing a remaster of Red Dead Redemption 1.
Yeah,
finally.
not on any of the shit that I have on Switch.
Yeah,
For
that does suck.
$50. You know what they said though is they said, and they're correct in this, but they're
Does
missing PC either way, right? Not giving us a PC port of Red Dead 1. Are you still okay? Whatever, but they're saying on Xbox you're not going to need the remaster because you already have the ability to buy the 360 version and run it on the newer systems.
yeah.
This is true, right? But what does that say about the remaster? Is you think they put a lot of effort into it? I don't. And they made it run on Switch, which means they even from 360 graphics, they downgraded it. There's no way they
Yeah.
didn't.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Look
I
at
know.
like The Witcher 3 on Switch. It looks like shit, but it runs, you know?
Well, people were hoping for like a complete and total remaster of RDR1, meaning like that they were going to include references to Arthur in RDR1. I knew that they weren't going to do it I knew they were
No.
basically just going to port it.
There's not like the amount of fucking to really remake it in the new engine that would require the same amount of time and development of a new game.
Yeah.
And they're clearly all hands are on deck for GTA 6 for better or worse, because I've been seeing reports that it's going woke and that they're going to focus on the online mode. And that actually doesn't bother me because, I played the campaign in GTA 5 once, but I played a lot of the online.
According
Kind of fun.
to
But there's some things they could do to make, like the interface could be made so much smoother. But I was like, but they probably can't do it in this engine. I'll wait for
Yeah.
like a GTA 6.
If it was smoother and they like you don't have hackers,
Yeah, the
and
hackers is a big deal.
perhaps balance it so that like you can be like, oh, I'm gonna buy this cool fighter jet rather than like saving up desperately to get the oppressor.
Yeah, or another one would be the ability to just go off on a private server to do all of the missions
With your friends, yeah.
with your friends and not have people attack you. Like you should have to opt into a PvP server, or like PvP servers could be the default, but then you can do missions off on your. Now I do that anyway because there's a trick you can do on PC that just kicks everybody out, and then I'll immediately invite Shmuley, and then we'll just do the mission. Right?
You know what?
But I shouldn't have to work around it. I shouldn't have to do that. They should just have it so I can do that.
You know what really does annoy me, and I'm not even a PC guy, but I'm angry on behalf of my PC fan base. I love the Batman Arkham series, but even 10 years later, I don't believe they ever fixed Arkham Knight for PC, and
It's playable, but it's not fixed. Right?
yeah.
The physics are a little weird. If you try to run it with 60 frames per second, the physics get a little weird. There's workarounds for it. They did try and patch it at least once, and then they gave up. Also, but like people talk about that one, but Arkham Origins is still not fixed either.
Yeah, well,
those are the two. I'll say this though: Warner Brothers in general fixes a lot of their games. I don't know why it's the Arkham series with them. It's really weird because they fixed. Like Mad Max had some problems they ironed out on PC. Mad Max I would highly recommend, if that's a game you missed over the last 10 years, you find that motherfucker on a Steam sale for like $2. And it's a good 20-hour campaign of Mad Max goodness where you can make a car where you can shoot harpoons at other cars and explosives, and it's fun.
People give me shit because I love the Arkham series because they're like, oh, you just like the Arkham series because you're a big Batman fan, and I'm like, yes, literally. Why are you trying to make that like an own? That's literally.
Yeah, but they're well-made superhero games too, right? Like before that, the best one, almost universally agreed upon, was like Spider-Man 2 on like the PS2, right?
Yes.
And then even Spider-Man games after that didn't even live up to that particular game. And so then the next good superhero game to ever come along was the Batman ones. It's no surprise they're popular. There's been a few that are fun,
Yeah.
Also, you know, as a PC MMO guy, I got to shout out City of Heroes back in the day was dope.
Yes. Damn, I missed
There's a
that
private
game.
server that runs City of Heroes for free, and me and my buddy Corethus are actually and his friend Zuli Tittles is her name. For the gentlemen that are into, hey, for the guys that share creep shots with Sam, you might want to tune in for this. We're gonna do a series where we go into video games where MMOs, old MMOs, new MMOs, whatever. I'm the casual because I quit. My friend Core, he's the hardcore because he grinds out these fucking games and he has like all the shit in most of them, right? So he won't quit for nothing unless he doesn't like a game. But and then she has never really played MMOs at all, so she's a complete noob. And we're gonna go into these games and see if they're any good. And that's gonna be starting very, very soon, actually. And City of Heroes is on the short list because I used to love that game.
Did you ever play? And yes, I know it's browser based, but did you ever play RuneScape back in the day, even for like?
A little bit, but I was more of a fucking World of Warcraft guy, like right from the
Yeah.
inception. Before World of Warcraft, for online MMOs, the only one I had dabbled in was Asheron's Call 2. I didn't even play the first one. And that's a weird fucking game that would be hard to explain. So when World of Warcraft came out, because I played all the Warcraft games before that, you know, and especially Warcraft 3. I was hooked and I played the shit out of World of Warcraft. I still play World of Warcraft Classic sometimes.
What is Shmooly?
Grobulous US motherfucker, PvP, RP, PvP roleplay. Come at me, Mutesh the dwarf. If you fucking if you play on that server, you might know me.
I thought I heard Shmooly chuckling about something, but I couldn't tell what.
Smuckling again.
I thought I was muted. I apologize. Nah, I'm just listening to you guys go.
No, I'm just curious. Shmooly schmuckling is amusing. Oh, that is one thing I did want to cover. Apparently someone like left a comment and then deleted it on the clip of your Shmooly review, and they were like, this is outrageous. Shmooly did obviously not watch this movie because it was woke.
I don't know. It sounds
okay, but then they deleted it.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
So then, yeah, because I've been trying to find it, and
well, but by nature of him being the villain of the movie, if it's woke, he's red pilled.
Right.
Yep.
Well,
he literally takes the red pill through the course of the film.
Yeah.
And which leads him to be a villain in this woke world, right?
Again though, this goes
But if you see it from his point of view, he's not the villain.
Again though, this goes back to Max's initial point, like, why are all these conservatives upset about the Barbie movie?
Seriously.
It's the like, okay, I can if you have little girls, if you have daughters and you're a dad, I can understand maybe, but like,
yeah, but the kids, you know,
if
you're a good dad and your kids get exposed to this liberal garbage messaging, sometimes that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You could be like all these motherfuckers will be like, homeschool your kids and do this and do that, but sometimes your kid's gonna come across liberal fucking messaging in their life, and if you're a good parent, you counteract that by raising them properly.
But just to say, like, yes, the movie is woke, but yes, yeah. I'm correct that they failed.
But they
failed the messaging, and I explained an interpretation of the art and what I took from it.
Yes,
so, but if you go in there like Ben Shapiro with a notepad and write down, okay, well, Barbie says this at seen why.
No,
and
you saw
other-
Ken. You saw Ken's hero's journey,
Yes.
right? Which it was. He did the hero's journey. As I've looked into it more since I saw your description, just to make sure that you're not fucking with me. Okay, I don't want to watch the Barbie movie, so I have to kind of take your word for it. But I looked into some reviews and things, and what I saw is you're absolutely correct in your assessment that they did the same thing that Marvel Infinity War did, right? Where the antagonist of the film is actually the protagonist on the hero's journey. In this case, Ken. He's the one that goes and sees all this stuff. He's the one that learns things. He's the one that improves himself to become something greater than he is, comes back, shares that knowledge with his people, making them better. That is a hero's journey if ever I've heard one.
Yep.
So they
Yeah.
because they wanted to subvert that trope of the hero's journey and make him the villain, they failed their messaging. Because I'm not just seeing Shmuley by this week, Sargon's ripping him off too, saying the same thing. Maybe he saw Shmuley's clip. That's very possible.
Well,
But
but
maybe he came to that conclusion on his own too, because that's exactly what they were trying to do. They were trying to make Ken have a hero's journey where he becomes a villain, because they think that's how you write a compelling villain.
yeah, but see, this is something that does drive me a bit insane with like conservatives doing like commentary is right, like the Ben Shapiro types. I feel like they go in almost looking for this,
Because
almost
it's filler.
yeah,
It's
almost
part of the grift.
yeah. Well,
They
okay,
need
so
he needs to be able to read the WAP lyrics and go viral, right? He needs that kind of shit. He loves it.
yeah, what I'm saying
He
is
goes,
like
ching.
what I'm saying is Shmuley does what I do with movies and like tries and looks at them objectively.
Well,
I
he finds
I
meaning.
think.
He finds meaning, and it's not necessarily going to be the meaning that's placed upon it. But I don't think he's wrong here, because
No,
I'm seeing a lot of other young men. What it is they also don't understand part of writing a villain. If I could be so goddamn pretentious, and the part of writing a villain that they don't understand is that you have to have empathy to their cause to some degree to understand why they become. That's how you write a good villain, right? If you watch Darth
yes.
Vader's story all the way through from when he's a kid, you have it's actually provable. The older like Gen Xers and shit that saw the original trilogy have a very different perception of Darth Vader as a character than the ones that grew up seeing the prequel trilogy, because it's a
Yeah.
different character arc, right?
Well, and
And you can empathize with him, especially because you grew up with him as a child to a teen to an adult, and then you see him transform into the bad guy, right?
well, and
That's the character arc that they're looking for, except they don't think you need the empathy for a villain. In fact, they think you should hate a villain, and so they write villains by the trope that they find the most hateable. Okay, and the most hateable thing in the world to the people that wrote that film that could be an unrepentant, irredeemable villain was like a 90s masculine guy. Right. And so because they think that's unempathetic, unredeemable, right? Because they're feminist broads. When a young man sees that, he can empathize because he's a bro.
apparently,
And then he's a bro learning about fucking being a bro, and he's like, bro. You know what I'm saying? And they fucking resonate, and they don't even have to have a goddamn intellectual dissertation like our friend Shmuley did here. They know what he's talking about, and they personify it by saying that one word to each other is bro.
apparently the woke feministas are also mad at Margot Robbie now, though, too, because
Why not?
yeah, Atomic Denny was actually the one that shared this with me. Shout out to him. Apparently the wokesters are mad with Margot Robbie because I guess the woke feministas were like, oh my god, Margot Robbie, there are men who are watching the movie and they watch it because they're attracted to your feet and their foot fetishes. And her
So
and
that
her
ain't her fault.
and her
Base.
and her response was and her response was like oddly like, okay, well I think it's actually kind of sweet or something. It was like she didn't flip
She
out.
just doesn't care.
Yeah, it
So
was
so you're just bringing this up to insinuate that that's why I went to see that movie?
no.
You went to see her feet, you freak.
Is that what you're insinuating?
Oh,
Yeah, great.
Sam's
No.
been saving that up for a week.
You
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
He got
yes,
you.
yes, Shmuley. I've been flagged that you're Quentin Tarantino.
Noted.
Basically.
Hold on. Noted foot fetishist Shmuley.
No, well, no. Here's the thing, though. It all
Put a little
serious.
subtitle card beneath him. Foot fetishist.
The problem with watching the Barbie movie in that way is that it'd be very uncomfortable because it's like mostly like kids and their moms.
Well,
I'm just saying, if you're that into her feet, you might catch a charge, fam.
yeah, that's well.
Well, there's always a Blu-ray release.
Well, no. So
Wait for DVD. Yeah.
Shmuley, though. Here's another thing though that crossed my mind. Right. I
No, you
imagine.
need that blue. Like, if you're a fetishist, you need the Blu-ray, the 4K.
Wait, yeah, yeah. Well, okay. If you're really into Margot Robbie that much, just go
No,
watch.
no, they're into feet. This is what you're missing. They're into
Just,
feet.
just
There
go
was-
back and watch Wolf of Wall Street from 10 years ago. They've
True,
got
true. I mean, no, I mean the entire iCarly back catalog. I mean, the Dan Schneider every episode is like
The only thing I know of her is being like she's Harley Quinn in that one, right? She's the Harley Quinn.
oh yeah,
She's
yeah.
yeah, I'm not into crazy chicks. I already went down that road in life. So she does I certainly not into feet. So I think I'm immune from this problem. But Shmuley, hey, if he wants to go check her feet out for 2 hours,
the funniest thing was we were doing I used to do a meme where I would call not Lauren Southern, Laura
Laura
Loomer,
Loomer.
my wet bread, and just meme like that all the time. So I was trying to find pictures of before she had surgery that fucked her face up. And the funniest thing is I type it into the web browser and I'm like early pics. And then I find it categorized with dates and everything on like a foot fetish website. They had like every picture of her with feet involved. I don't know, just like these guys don't play around. These guys are fucking categorizing and cataloging.
I don't even understand the foot fetish thing. Honestly,
No one does. But the people who do are like motherfucking connoisseurs about that shit.
Yeah.
yeah.
They take that shit super duper seriously.
You think Kiwi Farms catalog shit? You haven't seen anything. That's all.
Oh no. Well, no. In all seriousness, though,
I'm sure that you probably have a damn thing where they've categorized every time they've seen your feet.
Based and somebody jacks off to that.
there used to be a meme on the Whitfield Report channel where John Eric Haid, old friend of the show, as a joke would always like tell me to show feet, and then he would and
Sure, he was a friend.
yeah, it's that whole listen, the Danger Zone was an interesting time, kind of coinciding with the whole Owen thing.
Did you show your butthole though?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
What about the taint?
No.
All right. I can work with that then.
You know what was funny though was someone like said for me to take my shirt off like Alex Jones, and I don't think they were expecting me to do it. So I just did it, and they super chatted me.
That's
So.
amazing. Max, didn't you experience something on this topic before? Somebody tried to buy your shoes?
Yeah. Like God, this was when I was single, right? And they had them. This probably like dates me to a very specific area, but at the time, but they had chat lines, and my friend was really into them, and we'd call up the chat lines, and it's supposedly you meet up girls. I never met up with a single fucking girl, but I did have one that was talking to me for a minute with kind of a husky voice, asking me to buy my shoes because I said I was a tall dude, and then it was it was a dude. Like I found out it was a dude pretty quickly, but he was talking like a chick. It kind of sounded like it could be a chick, and I'm drunk with my friend talking, and I'm like, yeah. No, I got big fucking feet. Yeah, why? Oh, you like stinky old shoes? $100. Are you a dude? Oh God! All right, next call. Yeah,
There's-
that definitely happened though, and I thought about it for a second, like a quick second. I'm like $1,000. I think it was $1,000 for like the 3 pairs of my old shoes, and I walk a lot, so if he likes them stinky, motherfucker, I got some doozies for him. But
remember-
I don't know, like what is he
So-
gonna do with them? Jack
It
off in
reminds-
them?
it reminds-
Sniff them?
reminds me of that time I was on what's that website, Omegle,
Yeah.
where you jump. And of course, I had my Trump gear on, and so occasionally some people were against it. And there's one dude that was like, "Oh, cool, man, yeah, I'm a Trump supporter too, whatever." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And so I was just talking with him that, and I just steadily started to fuck with him. I just steadily started hitting on him.
You were like, I need a man that can take care of me though, like you.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah, I got like this whole construction company thing. I was like, ooh, that's good, I need a man that can take. And then he got really fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was great. That was one of the best Shmuley moments ever.
It was
Because
classic.
none of us saw it coming either, right?
So Shmuley, I do have a question though about the Barbie movie, because like it also crossed my mind that there are a lot of girls or women who are dragging their boyfriends or significant others to see the movie, right? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if that was the case for you, but I would
No.
imagine. I would
I wouldn't-
imagine.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I would imagine that they wrote the character of Ken the way they did, perhaps in order to like appeal maybe to like a male audience, or
Well,
maybe
that's the rest of my story, right? So they wrote this story where he gets red pilled and becomes irredeemable, and then a corporate suit came in and was like, "Yeah, but we want this movie to have appeal to boys too. Could we make Ken kind of cool?"
yeah, that
And so the combination of their woke messaging and some studio suits fucking demographic tempering just so happens to like the fucking light shines perfectly through the prism to create a rainbow of a woke movie that actually contains a direct red pill story. There you go.
I mean, hey,
This is what woke plus corporate gets you, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, I'm actually not necessarily opposed to that. Like, if there's a red pill wrapped in wokeness, I'm not exactly like.
No, it's because
against
what's
it.
expected to be wokeness is a parody of itself. Because the story of a man finding masculinity in meaning is not like that ground shaking.
If you want to make them mad, just take any story that they're pushing as woke and contextualize it as this
Not
poor
woke.
woman making bad decisions because of the system.
Yeah.
And it just fucking kills they get so mad. Like, so, Beauty and the Beast.
Did I ever tell you guys my
The Beast is evil. Belle is ignorant. She turns down Gaston, who's objectively a good person and is correct.
And everybody acknowledges he's a pillar of his community, actually.
Yeah, he holds
Everybody
power.
acknowledges how important he is. That's why they sing a song about him like that. Like the thing about these older Disney musicals is they don't do a song like that for no reason.
Now, the
It's to
thing
show you that
about
he is considered by everybody but Belle to
Mm-hmm.
be the pinnacle of masculinity.
exactly, and the great evil that he committed was he told Belle that she shouldn't be reading; she should be worried about more practical things.
Yeah. Because she
Now,
spends her time literally walking around with her head in a fucking book, not paying attention to where she's going.
yep.
It's literally affecting her. And you even see that in the Disney film.
So this is the point. Like, he's red pilled and base. So this somehow goes over people's heads.
Yeah.
But I think there needs to be a broader critique.
Well,
Because the right has a tendency to not understand frames and how art works and recontextualizing
No,
things.
the right does memes way better, but the left is still got art by the balls.
yes. And the thing it is, they don't need to. So
Not just the art itself, but the narratives that surrounds it.
so
It's still a leftist framing. Even the Ben Shapiro fits into the leftist framing because he says exactly what they expected him to say about the Barbie movie.
yes, that's the thing is like Ben does the conservative ink stereotype. Like he basically like plays into their hand every time.
I mean,
So,
like, I hate to say it, but like I'm a guy that comes from the art world, and I've always said this. Like the art libertarians used to do this. They'd be like, we gotta make art for the movement. And then everything they come up with is fake and gay and corny. The only thing they've ever been able to do, libertarians, people on the right, conservatives, whatever, is meme. And they're phenomenal at memes, but the art still ain't fucking there, man.
you
Because
know what?
because art and memes are different. A meme is just to make a point, but the thing is, the left, they work their art into making a point. If we could
Well,
make art that doesn't like lecture people, we'd fucking win.
yeah,
But
that
I would
well,
say that because Ben Shapiro is such a shill, that Sam challenges him to a crawling contest.
Based.
considering that Ben Shapiro was actually on the show, I could actually do that. But I feel like this is the conversation that would happen. Sam, why would you want me to do a crawl thing? That just seems highly illogical. Okay, and my wife is a doctor.
Because
Maybe
to donate the money to a charity that represents fucking cerebral palsy. That's why. How about
well,
that?
my
How about
my,
that?
Ben?
Ooh,
Look
he
here.
can't turn that down, can he?
Ben,
My-
if your wife is such a good doctor, then fix Sam.
Oh,
well, no. That's
God
what
damn, you're cold.
that's what I was gonna say. Shmuley is my wife is a doctor and she probably could fix Sam. Okay, but I don't know why I would need to crawl. I don't know why we need to crawl race against Sam to have my wife fix him.
The last time a Jewish person cured the cripples, they nailed them to a cross.
We're going crazy this summer, guys. Sam's now challenging people. I challenged Andrew Tate. Did I tell you about my like mega dad moment at the wrestling match?
No, what happened?
Yeah. So this was at like the Kiddies Day Festival. They had a wrestling event, right? And we went over there. My boy was having fun. He was cheering for the heel because I don't know, he decided who he liked and he liked the heel. The heel was in better physical shape. Okay. He was a buff dude that looked like he should be a wrestler. He was wearing gear, right? So I go there every year and I heckle these guys about not wearing actual wrestling boots and shit like that and give them shit. And this year, one of them, he was wearing fucking the boots. Last year, he wasn't. The year before, he wasn't. And he remembered me because I'm probably the reason he bought those fucking boots on Amazon because I literally said, you guys could just buy boots on Amazon, like And it, like, I'm front row, okay, and it's a small wrestling ring, and it's in a field on a baseball field in the middle of a fair, right? And the guy starts yelling shit at me, and so I challenged him to a match.
Nice.
Because I was gonna tell him, like, I'll put you over. Just you let me get a couple punches in, and then I'll fucking fall down, and you beat my ass, and then everybody
But
boos you. Because he was being he was a terrible heel, bro. The little kids didn't even hate him; they didn't care.
by the way, Max,
My point is that I was at a wrestling match. I challenged the fucking wrestlers to fight me because they can't fucking fight you, and if they do, I'll probably beat most of their ass anyway. To be honest with you.
well,
I
yeah,
was bigger than all of them.
well, yeah, that's the thing is you actually know how to fight, and I think a lot of them know that. So that's
I don't know if they know that, but they know I'm big and that I was in their face as much. Like that guy wanted to get in my face, and I had my dad
Well,
moment of like in front of my son, so I had to say something, right? You
yeah.
motherfucker, I squared up and I was just like, I'll fucking get in the ring with you right now. And he probably thought I
So
was gonna shoot on him, but I would actually let him win.
so Max, you were ahead of the curve on a lot of things regarding Andrew Tate because now on
Oh yeah, and I
Twitter,
on the record still will fight Andrew Tate. Let's just to get that out of the way.
well, it's funny because all these people who like all these people who just like 2 weeks ago were holding up Andrew Tate as like some noble pillar of manliness are now like, oh shit, I guess Andrew Tate really is a bad guy.
I mean,
And you and I are both over here like, yeah, always was. You guys just weren't paying attention.
he is
So
what he is. Like, I don't know how bad of a guy he is, like ethically, morally, right? But it's certainly not how I perceive a man to be at all. And
yeah.
and what he says to young men is oftentimes harmful.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying he's like Al Qaeda, but he's not,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
He's not somebody I would want the friendship of or anything. And because he doesn't hold to it because people criticize him all the time, right? But he set the rule that if you criticize me, you have to be willing to fight me. That's why I make a point of it because like a lot of people ignore that he said that.
yeah.
But like I would because I believe in myself, right? A little confident. That's the one thing I can't teach. He can't teach you as a young man. He can teach you how to emulate confidence, but to have confidence, you need to accomplish something. And I'm sorry that you can't just get confidence for free, right? But like you will get confidence as you accomplish things as a man. That I promise you.
Yeah, and there is something to be said for emulating confidence or trying to, but
Yeah.
actually being confident is like an entirely
Chicks can smell the difference though. That's the thing.
yes.
Fake
Yes.
confidence doesn't actually work as well as real confidence. It's just because in real confidence you know what to say. Like I don't lack confidence, but I've been with my wife for so many years, so I don't know how to teach it to a young single guy. I wasn't as confident when I was a young single guy either. This is something that you acquire over time, and it's hard. It's hard to feel confident. Sometimes, you make the wrong decision or
Yeah.
something doesn't pan out right. It's easy to fucking feel like a failure. And
Yeah.
especially if you're not getting the ladies. Like, that's a thing. Like you lack the confidence to get the ladies, but then you don't get the ladies, that affects your confidence. It's a cycle. It sucks. But you can replace it with confidence that you're accomplishing things elsewhere in life. That's the trick.
Well,
Because
I
it will
mean,
rub off. If you're fucking working out, if you're fucking working a clean living, a good job, if you're fucking going to school, making something of yourself in a field that actually matters, not something you can get a degree in, sink your teeth into. These are things that will give you confidence over time, but they're hard,
yeah. No, I mean,
most
just have
times anything worth doing is.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, like for me, right? Like I'm obviously not like the most physical guy,
Sure,
but
yeah.
I mean the fact that like I've had a podcast for a long time and I write things and do other things and I sink myself into that. Like the one thing
Published
I
author, a title, published author that you can now carry, right? That's
yeah
something to be proud of. I'll tell you
um
something I'm proud of. This just recently was the 13th year of me being an ordained minister, right? I'm
yeah.
actually proud of that. I've married people, right?
Listen, I'm proud of the fact that as of the 22nd of this month, I will have lived in Florida for 10 years.
There you
Now
go.
that might not seem like that big of a deal, but just to kind of give a little background, I haven't talked about this, but when I first told my friends and family that I was moving to Florida back in Colorado, they all thought I was crazy. You know, like I left a lot of my friends and family, and there were a lot of people who thought that I was crazy for coming here. And then there were even people that were like, "Oh, he'll be back in a year, or he'll be back in 6 months." And yeah, I mean, it took me some time to adjust as it does, but I mean, I went to school. It took 7, 8 years, and I did the thing, and like I've actually made something of myself here when a lot of
Yeah.
people didn't think I would. So
Like I say, these are things that will gain you confidence over time, right? That have nothing to like you can't that's the other thing. A lot of these young incel guys fall into this problem of like they define themselves by their lack of a woman, right? But like the best way to have a woman is to be somebody they want.
yeah,
Whatever
and
that means. Like, look, I am not gonna sit here and say I know how to meet them because my wife literally walked in while I was playing video games. So
yeah,
I can't say how to meet them, but I can tell you that like a real woman, the kind that these guys are looking for, they might have some fucking flaws. Most likely do, but
yeah,
they're out there. And they might want you if you make yourself wantable. Like if you wouldn't want yourself, that's the real thing. Think about yourself and if you would even bother.
well, yes, there is that, but then there is also the thing of like if you are putting in the work and you are like bettering yourself and you're basically if you're going for a woman and you are improving yourself and she's just vapid or what I'm saying is like there are women that yes they may be pretty physically but there might be other issues that like maybe you don't want to get with XYZ.
Pretty
Maybe
plus crazy is a scary combination.
it's very common though, and I've actually had friends that they've gotten into relationships with like quote unquote hot women, and it's turned out to
But
be
the real thing I can give, the best advice I can give is the confidence thing because my wife,
yeah
again, I'm like to get into how nerdy of a situation I was in. Um, I was sitting at a computer on a keyboard playing Marvel versus Capcom emulated arcade uh over net play in a tournament, like a professional tournament among fucking Marvel versus Capcom players. And as soon as I lost my final match, my wife now walked in the room and we both looked at each other. And I said to myself, she probably got a girlfriend, and kind of moved on. And she started talking to me later. And she was flirting with me, and I didn't really notice it because I'm dumb. And I drank a lot of beers. And that's true. It's a true story. So I was grilling. It was a party, and we had a keg, and I'm grilling right next to the keg in the hot sun. And so I'm like, I can have a cold beer. Let me have 6.
There,
I think I had like 12.
there is something to be said. I'm not saying that drinking is the best thing, but like I will say there were a couple of times. So one thing I dealt with when I was in my early 20s was I was still very self-conscious of the fact that I'm in a wheelchair, right? Especially around
You're in a
the women.
wheelchair?
Yeah, I know, right? Like you can't tell. We've never talked about it on the show before ever. Uh, you know,
It's I'm shocked. I don't know how to process this new information.
listen, sometimes I'm shocked.
It was like
And
when I learned about what was it like when I learned about FTR.
well, I mean, come on, that is kind of an insult because like I'm way more based.
True.
But no, you know, like having a disability, like I was maybe more conscious of it than I should have been.
Well, for sure.
But like, I will tell you this: when I was, you know, drunk on occasion, didn't really give a, I didn't really give a fuck
Well,
whether or not
wh-
I was talking to women anyway. Is my point like?
well, I'd always, talking to women was, I'd always done it, right? It's a thing. You do it, and it makes it easier. And there's women that reject me. Look, I'm 6'5", right? And like all these short guys are like, they don't like women until they're 6 feet, but like there's diminishing returns on that. I promise you. And when you're 6'5", a lot of women will look the other way because you're a giant, you're an ogre. Look,
Yeah,
I'm not only tall, right? But like Jesse from Pod Awful on the Merch Show was talking about how he's tall and skinny, but fluctuates weight a little bit. I'm not tall and skinny, right? I'm tall and built like a Mack truck, right? Like a linebacker. Like the reason I have to wear a 2X shirt minimum, not because of my big fat gut, but because my shoulders rip the fucking XLs. So I'm built like a truck, right? It's hard to meet girls that way unless you play sports. And the only sports I ever did was fucking combat sports, and there's not as many girls interested in combat sports as you might think. So,
really, I had no idea.
but I was into music and like esoteric music, and I'm me, and
Yeah,
I'm personable. All right, I'll talk to a motherfucker. I can be the life of the party. That's always been a skill of mine. But I wasn't looking to talk to girls that night. Like I said, I looked at her and I said, she probably got a boyfriend. And I left it at that, even when she was flirting with me, because I'm stupid as well. And I had said to
yeah,
myself, I'm not looking for a girl at that point in my life. I went through some shit and was just like, I'm not looking. But anyway, I drank beer grilling, and I got way too drunk. And then my brother was like, let's go up. There was a barn behind my house that was all dilapidated and shit, just called the barn. It was a literal barn. It was I lived in the woods. I'm a country kid. And so we went up in the barn to smoke pot, and we did. And then everybody else left because they were done. And they were like, you coming? And I was like, nah. And I laid on the little couch we had up there. And then I threw up on myself, on my shirt, my lucky shirt that I'd worn for years. I bought at a concert. It said "Anybody Fucking Killa" on the back. It's for an artist known as Anybody Fucking Killa, or ABK. And he on the front is pointing a gun at his head, and he's got an axe in his hand, and his face is all painted up. It's a pretty badass shirt. But I threw up all over it, and I'm a bit of a tubby guy at the time, right? A little chunky for a big guy like me, right? But I didn't have a shirt, and there's a party full of girls, so I sobered up a bit, but I had to stay where I was, right, for a minute because there's a party full of girls in the pool in bikinis, and I don't want to run through drunk, covered in puke with no shirt on, like an ass. So I'm gonna stay right up here. And then it got dark and shit, and I'm like, I'm gonna stay right here for a little bit. And then my wife and my brother, my youngest brother, she somehow and him came up with, and he was like 13 at the time, came up with a plan to come get me because he told her it was haunted, right? And there's no lights up there, and it's dilapidated, like I say. And so my wife and him come up, and that's where I got to talking to her. And we have been together for over 17 years now. That story happened 17 years ago.
Based.
And so the reason I say my confidence is the one advice I can give is because if I didn't have any confidence to navigate that situation, I wouldn't be happily married dad now, right? You got to talk to girls, and when the opportunity arises, and it may or it may not, you got to have some patience, but you'll be all right if you fucking have some smooth word. You got to have a few smooth words. You got to have a look, like you got to have something going on. Shit.
You know what, Max? That's inspiring. It's so inspiring that it honestly deserves a round of applause.
God damn it. We're all in trouble now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Max Sand more inspiring than Andrew Tate.
I hope so. I've been really working this last week. I'm fucking getting kind of sunburned, even though it hadn't been fucking sunny.
Yeah,
I'll fight that motherfucker. Give me 6 months. I'll fight him. I'll fight. He want to come to fucking America. I ain't leaving the country. That's the only stipulation.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mr. Moneybags probably has like a supposedly he has all these private jets. It shouldn't be a problem for him to show up at, in your area or wherever you want to do it. So,
that's the one benefit to being a big guy is like there's no guy I'm afraid to fight. There's guys I know I would lose to. Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think I could beat the shit out of Brock Lesnar, right? And he's older than me. But
Yeah.
but
Well,
would I fight if there was something at stake, if there was a reason to do so, would I fight Brock Lesnar? Yes, I would fight Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
I would fight Mike Tyson in his prime because I don't know, I'm a man. I stand for something. And being a big guy, that I'm good with two things. I'm good with my words, and I'm good because I'm huge, right? And you got to lean into what advantages you have in life. And one of those is I can kick most people's ass, even though I'm like a middling shape, fucking middle-aged man. I'm just so gigantic and trained that I don't fear anybody. And even if like I'd fight Brock Lesnar and he'd kill me, but I'd put up a fight.
Yeah.
And maybe, other guys wouldn't. And I'm not saying you have to be brave. I'm just saying that's how I see the world. I'm this big guy, and why would I fear something like that? I don't fear anybody in a fight. I fear stuff like getting shot. You know what I'm saying? Or
true.
Or another heart attack. That's pretty fucking scary, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But
well,
I've been in fights. You know what I'm saying? I fought most of my life.
Well, you also don't strike me as the guy looking to get into fights either. Like,
No, I've never started a fight unless you count like professionally like sanctioned fights.
Well, right. But what I'm saying is like I do know guys that like go around looking for trouble, right? We all know guys like that, and
I wish some of them would hit up a boxing gym, to be real. If you find yourself, audience, as one of those guys, that's some good advice, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, that's where they need to be, honestly.
Channel
So.
that shit. You can hit somebody really fucking hard. It'll make you feel better, and it's completely okay to do so.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on 2 hours and 45 minutes. Anything else on the...
No. Be a man, Hogan.
There we go.
To quote the great Macho Man Randy Savage's famous rap song. Yes, really. Look that up. Be a man,
Yeah.
Hogan.
I guess one kind of palate cleanser, because I did want to show you one of the Nick Fuentes's clips.
Oh,
you
God.
know who Pearly Things is.
Kinda. She's a broad that says stupid stuff.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever seen of her, is she says stupid stuff.
So
She tries to be based, but she just says stuff that's like, are you dumb?
yeah, well, she's a woman who like criticizes other women for being like,
She's like, in terms of advice, not personal morality, because I don't know much about her, but in terms of the advice I've seen her giving women, she is the female Andrew Tate. It's like toxic advice that will ruin your life.
yeah. So in this interview that Nick did on the Saws cast, he got asked about like his relationships with Pearly Things, Trump, and Kanye West. I'm not going to play the entirety of this, but I do want to play a little bit, because this is kind of how the whole entire stream went, more or less, for Nick. He I wouldn't say that he completely ate shit, but he wasn't like the victor either, per se. Let's see here.
That's very fair of you.
Yeah, well, like people are like, oh, well, Nick killed it in this debate. First out,
is this a picture that we're looking at here of a Down syndrome woman, or
it
what's
could
going
be
on there?
That's Pearly Things, I guess.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Without getting kicked off of YouTube.
What's she gonna say?
Now, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I kinda wanna know why. Now there's all these conspiracy theories, and the more they talk, I think
She can't sing worth a shit either.
No, and she's doing the, like I said, the edgelord pissing contest. Ha ha ha. Like, I get it. And then a lot of these people turn from being jokes to like serious whatever. She seems like one of those.
Yeah.
She gets attention by being the edgy girl. She's like a pick me for edgelords.
Yeah, well, no, that's exactly how Genius Anus. That is verbatim how Genius Anus described her, a pick me for edgelords. So.
Yeah.
Give her every right to play that song. It's just actually not a good song. Pearl. I love you, but that's hurting my eardrums. But
legit,
fully endorse her right to sing the song. Is there another timestamp, Malik?
Yeah, there's another video.
Okay, but there was not another timestamp for that video?
No, you just sent it to 1 minute.
And this is Pearl's response.
So the guy hosting this, David Zoss, he works with Patrick David, who I guess is like, because he's kind of like becoming a new Joe Rogan, essentially, but he's Jewish, and he did platform Nick on his podcast. So any of these people are like, the Jews won't platform Nick. Well, yeah, one did. So
are we in a society where we can say what speech is allowed and what speech isn't allowed? So
why should you?
I get
Hold on. Why should they?
good question.
Like, good on him for doing it, but why should they have to? Like, I don't know. If somebody goes around saying, I hate Max, right? And that's all they ever do. And people are like, you got to bring him on your show. I'm going to be like, no, fuck you.
No, yeah, I agree with that. But, my point being is they can't cry that, no one ever has Nick on anymore because this guy did.
No, he's become the new Richard Spencer. He's become the new leftist punching bag monkey.
Yeah.
Well, even if he holds his own, like you're kind of saying he does a little bit, like that's not how any of them are going to see it anyway.
No.
So they can just bring him on and be this is the fail stage of like the little upstart Nazi career. Right? When you get to that point that you've crossed the threshold and he already has, all you can do is suck fame by like going on CNN like Richard Spencer or
basically
kind of shit.
Basically what I'm saying though is that like in regards to this whole segment, right, is like these guys gave Nick a fair shot and he's still in typical Nick.
No, I got
fashion.
you. I was just posing the question, if Jews aren't platforming him, why should they have to?
Right, exactly. So
I'm a bit nervous because they just switched the guests, so I know nothing about the girl I'm going on with. And other than like what you Google in 10 seconds, you get on, and Pierce says I'm gonna go hard on you this time, something like that. And I'm like, oh really? And I'm shocked because his producers have said all week he's on my side. So I'm like, what? Okay, this is where we.
So Nick, your name was mentioned multiple times by Pearl. By Pierce Morgan. Typically, when someone mentions a name, we give you a chance to respond. So here's my question. Are you an amazing music producer now? Are you planning on doing a duet with Pearl? What is happening?
I might, yeah. No, I'm not really musical, but
honestly,
I didn't know anything about this song. It was not dedicated to me. I actually just saw it on Twitter when she posted it, and I said, what is she doing? Because, I text her all the time, and I tell her, like, when it comes to this stuff, you're going to get backlash. I even told her when I went on her show, I said, you're going to get backlash for doing this. And I think people don't really realize what that means until it happens. And I think, so it definitely happened. She got a lot of backlash.
What's your relationship with Pearl now? Friends, colleagues?
We're friends.
Constituencies?
We're friends. Yeah.
Pearl made a major name for herself. She also went to college. Mm-hmm. Okay, she's also building a business.
She also played sports. She also played professional sports.
She also, up until today, has the right to vote.
Yeah.
What is Pearl doing wrong?
Well, she's not doing anything wrong. I think.
So, Nick, it is important to point out that prior to this, Nick had said that women shouldn't be able to vote or go to college or have businesses or anything. So Correct. This guy, David Zoss, just kind of flipped that on him, as you just heard. And now we're going to see Nick.
The waffling.
Waffle.
Because he has to. He has no alternative. He's been completely cornered by the question.
And as Jim Medicare aptly points out, when he waffles, he does do this weird hand gesticulation thing.
She's the only thing she's doing wrong is she should be married and have kids. But I agree with her, and she agrees with me on a lot of this stuff with the women because she's in the red.
Well, obviously that's clearly her message. We're not even going to get into that. We know her message.
Absolutely.
And again, I've had Pearl on the show. We've had agreements, disagreements. Pearl can come on the show anytime she's in town. She knows we're cool. Mm-hmm. How's she going to build a YouTube business, but also have kids?
Yeah, she's going to have to choose. She's going to have to make a decision. But, I've seen it happen before. I've had friends who are YouTubers, women, and then they go and have kids, and then they quit. I've seen it happen before. There were actually two prominent examples. Lauren Southern, she was a big right-wing YouTuber back in the day, and allegedly she said she was retiring to have a kid. There was some other stuff going on. And then she pops back up a year later, hey, remember me? I'm back on my YouTube channel. And she got this divorce and has all these problems and whatever. But I knew another girl I don't want to name. She's not active anymore. She was a big activist in the right-wing scene, got married, had kids, No one's ever heard from her again on the internet. I talk to her still, but
let me ask you guys a question, real quick, because I want to get to the next topic. The song, as not good of a song as it was, I fully endorse the right. You can sing this song. Why can't we talk about the Jews? Oh man, okay, Jewish. Don't cancel me. Does anyone here think that she should not be able to sing that song? What do you think, Nima?
You know, because I know Pearl, and I've seen her staff at her home, and it's pretty diverse. And you know, she was really welcoming to me, and she knows I'm Jewish. You know, and I watched
there we
her
go. She lives
repeatedly. I made
like
jokes
a shit
at her.
lib. She lives like a normal fucking liberal city person, and around all these diverse people, and then goes and shit talks all of them for a living, and using them for cheap labor to fucking do her dishes.
Yeah, this guy, by the way, Nima, I was blanking on his name earlier. The gripers hate this guy now because he basically like called. There's another
because he brought it right there. Just then he brought it.
Oh yeah, and he does this repeatedly.
That was like the backhanded compliment deal, right?
Yeah.
Where he's like, I've been to her house and she has this like wonderful diverse staff, which completely undermines this woman's argument. That's great. That was beautiful. Well done,
yeah.
bald guy.
Yeah, and he does this
bald guy who looks like Jonathan Coachman.
Yeah, he does this repeatedly. At the beginning of the podcast, he literally says like, "Yes, I'm a venture capitalist. I literally am a Jewish moneylender." So what? It's great. So
her expense, and she didn't once complain. You know, so like, what sort of person would I be if the moment she made a joke about Jewish people, that I snap back and say, and that's okay. And I actually think that breeds anti-Semitism. And I think when Chappelle made jokes on SNL, the best thing that happened was that he was permitted to do it.
Yeah.
I think when you ban people like him, Nick, it's the worst you can do because you make it like a forbidden fruit.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much where I stand on that. So I do think he should have his freedom of speech as well as Pearl.
Is there any reason that song?
No,
real quick response.
I think it's sad that we've gotten to a point in American culture that people have to do this and then subsequently then try to get 15 seconds of fame or make money. It's like this is literally idiocracy. She should have the right to say, you know, what she wants. She shouldn't be censored. But the fact that we have gotten to this point, that this is a topic of debate, shows you exactly where American culture is. And not to mention, the left and far left progressives, the culture wars, they love this stuff. You want to know why? Because this is the kind of stuff, people like Nick, for example, are the reason the left loves people like Nick. Because then that they can take somebody like him and take his comments, take what he says, and then spin it to that is what every America First person believes in.
Do you feel that's an interesting question. Do you feel a responsibility for that? Because there is a lot of commentary where they almost make you like the boogeyman for all right-wing conservatives. And even though what you believe they're saying is not true, do you see how it could hurt your side of the political line?
I'm not conservative. I'm not a Republican. If I hurt the Republican Party, good. I mean, I support Trump. I don't.
But he's going to be the candidate for the Republican Party, so that's kind of like talking out of both sides of your mouth.
But that's a big difference.
He's going to be the Republican nominee.
And you are
But don't you understand the difference between Trump and the establishment?
MAGA.
Yeah, we all do.
100%.
Okay.
I wasn't a point.
What party is Trump?
Republican.
Okay, so.
And I support Trump, but I mean,
But
the question was about.
him.
Hang on. But the question was about. Whether I'm hurting Republican candidates or something, and I say I don't care about Republicans because my message is the answer to liberalism. It's the only message that isn't liberal. What Republicans are pushing is liberalism driving the speed limit. They don't have any problem with transsexuals. They want to put an age limit on
but
it.
Trump's not pushing that, and you are directly hurting him and undermining his campaign and what his movement is and the people who really do believe in him when you sit there and try to be a surrogate or an ambassador to what you claim to be part of the movement. That's not part of the movement.
Really? Were you at Stop the Steal? You were at January 6th?
I was not there.
Okay, because I was supporting the president. And that's why I got put on a no-fly list. So, maybe you should support the president then.
Yeah, I don't know that politically that helped the Republican Party, though. It's January 6th.
Well, it's not about helping the party. It's about it was the right thing to do because,
the
we
original,
can't actually get into this because we're on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, look, I was a presidential appointee for the Trump administration.
Okay, here's where I want to go here. You brought up Trump. You famously had a meeting with Trump, allegedly. I'll let you talk about this.
He didn't come off good there at all.
Yeah.
I just want to point that out. Like, he thinks he did, but he didn't come off good there at all.
See, but see, this is my exact point. Like, they're letting Nick speak, right? They're giving him a platform.
Right.
And Nick is still floundering and making an ass of himself.
Because he has to dance that. He wants to get invited to these things. He feels important about it. But he can't lose his edgelord audience. It's the edgelord pissing contest all over again.
Right, and this is the funny thing. It's like the gripers always complain, oh, XYZ, no normal podcast will have him on because they're all afraid of him. Really? Well, this Valuetainment is one of the biggest normie business podcasts out there right now. They had Nick on, they allowed him to speak, and he's still making an ass of himself. And the reason why my point in playing all this is the reason why people are laughing at Nick isn't because of the Jews making him look bad. It's because Nick himself is making him look bad.
Right, and he doesn't think so.
Yeah,
and so it doesn't compute to him that that's what's going on here. Because he thinks that he's so smart and awesome. See, the confidence can be a killer too. Overconfidence. This is a perfect example of overconfidence. He thinks he just schooled all the whole room of them.
Yeah, there is self-confidence, but also there's a lack of self-awareness with Nick too. A painful lack of self-awareness.
Well, he wants to be on the in crowd, but at the same time he has to maintain his edgelord base because it's all he has.
Yeah.
And you can see him right here doing that dance and thinking he's doing a great job. And he is for the edgelords, but that's it. He's not winning normies over.
No. Normies are actually here's the other thing. The gripers oh, the normies are seething at Nick. No, the normies are laughing at Nick and being
laughing at him.
And being who is this? Is the guy that the media, thinks is the big, this is the guy that CNN wants us to be afraid of. This guy is a joke. So, yeah.
He's a walking punchline.
Yeah.
Two stories here. If you don't pull up that clip, and then we'll tell this. So regarding Trump, regarding politics, but more specifically regarding Kanye, you mentioned Milo earlier. November 2nd, 2022, Donald Trump hosted yourself and Kanye. At the time, you were Kanye's campaign manager, I want to say?
No, I was comms director.
Communications director.
Potentially. I was perspective.
Potentially.
Yeah.
You were working with Kanye.
Right.
Formally or informally?
Informal. Well, informally.
Was he paying you at all?
Yeah, I was being
Okay, so that's pretty formal. You guys had dinner at Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence here in Florida. The meeting was at Kanye's request.
If I lost it all and I had to...
Oh, God. This is the one thing I miss about YouTube Premium is the fact that I can just not pay for ads.
Get an ad block, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a statement after the fact, contacting him earlier in the week to arrange the visit. West, quote unquote, unexpectedly showed up with 3 of his friends who I knew nothing about, with who Trump dined. The dinner was quick and uneventful. Trump further elaborated several days later that he met with West to help a seriously troubled man who just happens to be black, who has been decimated by his business and is virtually everything else in his life. Then you've got Kanye, recently allowed back on Twitter, I want to say. Elon Musk unbans the account of Kanye West, yay. Kanye, when you see this, we're calling you yay, bro. Yay. As he pledges to make X the most valuable financial institution in the world. Nick, make sense of what's going on. I mean, we saw Kanye go on rants that make you look like a JV squad of anti-Semitism. Like, he went there, full on. You met with Trump. You're a huge Trump fan. He sort of walked back the meeting, right? He's like, yeah, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. He unexpectedly showed up. Make sense of what the relationship is with Kanye, what happened with Trump, and what's really going on.
Well, they had a dinner scheduled. I came out there to L.A. To work with EA on political stuff, and that
in a
was
sweatshirt.
So the dinner happened the Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
They reached out to you?
It was a long story how we got connected. It was through a couple of intermediaries to Ye, that is. And so I came out there maybe 4 or 5 days before the dinner. And the night before the dinner, we had a big session in the Donda headquarters, the Yeezy headquarters. And we were talking about politics and everything, and I really shined. They were fielding questions, and unsurprisingly, it wasn't even about those topics that Ye was talking about. It was actually about how do we deal with the issue of gay marriage? And I said, well, you don't attack gay marriage.
I don't believe him for 1 second.
Yeah, no, he's over embellishing things. You can kind of tell when he does it.
No, I think that Kanye got the most of the juice stuff from him. I think Kanye has a history, and that history is pretty obvious if you look at him. He has a bad thing happen, like his mother died a few years ago, and he goes into like a mental health crisis, and he doesn't take his meds, and he says a whole bunch of crazy shit. And I think he was just about getting divorced, right? And he's talking to this kid who sounds kind of smart, and the kid's talking about Jews, and he's like, yeah, there is a Jew fucking my wife right now. And also he got screwed over on a record deal, and the fucking company was owned by a Jew. And so he's in his mental health crisis, and he listened to what Nick was saying, and he processed it through his Kanye brain, and he came on Alex Jones and Gavin as well. Gavin's where he said the more foul shit, if you want to be honest.
Yeah, well, and in Gavin's in Gavin's defense, I'm not really even.
Gavin didn't say any of that shit. Kanye did.
Well, no, but Gavin, to his credit, did push back and say, well, he actually did give.
The whole premise was he was going to convince him he was wrong, but Kanye tripled down or whatever. And but I do blame that into a guy on a mental health crisis, because then he got stable again, right, and got his act together, and all of a sudden he's like, wait a minute. I watched a movie and Jews are funny. I don't hate them anymore. That's not that was a dream. Like, you got to understand, like, with mental, splits, if you talk to people that have had this occur, it feels like it was a dream when they said all that shit. Like, he doesn't even realize how real it really got.
Yeah, no, that's that is kind of the interesting thing, right?
And he's acting exactly like that, is all I'm saying. He's acting like he doesn't realize how badly he alienated Jews at the very least.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he's trying to reach out and make amends, and they're like, bro, like, you went there. Like, this guy said it. You went there. He went there.
Yeah, but then what you're going to see is, I think in this clip at least, they kind of call Nick out for being the one to manipulate Kanye.
I just wanted to call him out because I was like, I don't believe that they didn't talk about the Jews.
Yeah, no.
That's like all Nick's people talk about. It's their only thing. That's what makes them a fucking unit.
Yeah, that's their only thing. That's literally their only thing. And also, if you go back and listen to the podcast that Alex Jones did with Kanye West, literally all of Ye's talking points are from Nick,
right,
verbatim.
All right, let's get through this so my wife
dad. And anyway, so he loved that, and Ye invites me to go to the dinner with him the next day, and he thought it would be funny. He wanted to fly Spirit Airlines to the dinner. He just thought that would be funny. He's like, I'm going to meet the president on Spirit Airlines.
Okay.
Yeah, in coach.
Amy, you like that one?
It's pretty funny.
Okay.
Yeah, so we wound up The reservation got messed up, and so we wound up flying United, though, and we got there. And I wasn't even expecting to be at the dinner because I was told that I would probably be intercepted at some point because maybe
You're
if
on
Trump,
a no-fly list.
well, not even necessarily that, but people are aware of me in the GOP, like Catalina Loft. They don't want me to have that level of access to the president. And so I thought, someone's going to intercept me. I'm not going to be able to sit down. But he came out at the Mar-a-Lago Club. He invited us to dine, and we sat down and we had the dinner. And it was relatively uneventful. I mean, the most newsworthy thing that came out of it is that Ye actually did ask him to be his running mate, because that was the thrust of the meeting. Is
Kanye asked Trump to be
his
so
vice
like
president.
Kanye would be the president.
Trump was pretty insulted by that.
Yes.
And Trump. Read the room, Kanye.
Yeah.
My guy.
Well, once again, he thought that would be the funniest
Was
thing.
that tongue in cheek?
I
Was
think
that
he I think he
serious?
was being serious, wasn't he?
Well, he thought it'd be funny, but it was also serious.
Now, did Trump know you were coming to the dinner?
No, he didn't know I was
Okay,
coming.
so it was unexpected.
There were
Now,
3 other people, though.
Was
too.
it? Were you? I guess. How disappointed were you that Trump walked back the meeting with you?
I was actually pleasantly surprised because I thought he would fully disavow, but he didn't fully disavow.
Okay.
Yes,
he
did.
He
Now-
said what he.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
He even used that word specifically.
Yeah. Again, that's Nick's copium.
Yeah.
So
That's big lie number 2 by Nick over here.
yeah.
He had to say.
You worked with Kanye. How long did you work with Kanye for?
I worked with him for about 6 or 7 months.
Okay, so almost a half a year. That's not like 6 or 7 days like Anthony Scaramucci when he was the comms director of Trump's campaign. So as comms director, or a campaign manager for that matter, what statements would you advise Kanye to walk back that he's made?
Oh, none of it. None of it. I thought that.
You think Hitler invented the microphone?
Well, I don't know what he meant by that. I don't know. I think he meant like
I
a
don't think
specific
Hitler
kind of a
invented- I don't think
microphone.
Hitler invented the microphone.
Oh,
Nick,
you don't
Germany did.
think?
Whoa! Look at the attacks
Yeah,
coming
so
down
guys,
from this
Nick,
side of the panel.
Nick, you don't think that any of those
Bring in
statements?
Nima. Nima's got something to
No,
say about Ye's
Nick,
comments.
Nick, I just want to know respectfully, and I ask this respectfully. Do you find it difficult to find a wife that would be okay with you having a micro penis?
Okay.
And
Damn, dog.
that
You
is
done
the,
just got fucked up.
that's the kill shot. I literally wanted to play that for you because that's the clip that's been going viral.
Oh, keep it going. I want to see how the reactions are.
Yeah, it's good. So
I
That's
disavow.
a
I
good-
disavow.
That's like
You're
a
making me look
irrelevant-
better the way you do that.
Like,
No, I mean,
by
Nima,
I
comparison.
mean, I mean, if I was 40 years younger,
Nima.
Are
and
you
took
interested
12
in my
inches,
penis? You want to go and see it
No,
somewhere?
I just
give
think
you a
if I was 40 years
demonstration.
younger and you took 12 inches off my dick, you'd probably try to fuck me.
Nima,
wouldn't you?
that's not even
That's
a
very
relevant
much like-
conversation right now.
Let's back
talk
up. Nima,
about it in a
that's
valid.
so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's helping me
Yeah,
out here.
whether it's good or it's bad, whether it's whatever religion, it's not, that's a top of
ridiculous.
conversation. But you guys can go in the back and figure that out later.
Oh, no promises.
Okay.
No promises.
But as Kanye's campaign manager potentially
Well,
or communications, some of those comments were beyond
let me
shocking.
explain, let
You
me
would say
explain.
you wouldn't advise him to take back any of those comments?
No, because I got interrupted here. But no, because, and here's the thing. You know, Ye is, well, number one, he's totally.
Are you tired of high electricity?
I think we already got the killer
Move beyond.
yeah. So so Nick was basically Nick floundered that entire. He was basically floundering for the rest of that interview on that point, basically, because again he literally said I wouldn't advise Kanye to change anything.
The trick with Nick Fuentes is that he's only good when he's unopposed or underopposed. Anytime he's with somebody that knows how to read a room and isn't autistic, they completely destroy him. Right?
Yeah.
Like, all you have to know how to do is know like how normal people react to the conversation that you're having right now. You know, Nick Fuentes could do well with like a history. Like he thinks he's like this media genius. He could learn. Like there's a reason that a lot of media tones the shit they say down, and it's not just censorship.
No.
Sometimes that's the only way to get to your message to like great Aunt Matilda, who's like 140 years old. Okay, like there's different ways to reach different people.
Right.
And Nick Fuentes reaches a certain group of people, but the message that he's fucking selling ain't helping anybody.
No.
Not him, not the Republicans, not... Well, no, it helps him because he's relevant, I guess, and makes money. That's about it. It's not helping his guys because he makes his guys pledge to literally do, you know, illegal things in his name. So they're all on a list.
I mean,
it's gonna, you know, that I talked about that one lazy FBI agent, right? That one lazy FBI agent has more work on his plate than he can handle in America First. But hey, you know, he got owned. The micro penis thing was a good gut punch. The comeback after that, though, the dude yelling at him about, you know, my dick versus your whatever, that was kind of gay. It reminded me of that song, My Dick, Yo Dick Smells Like Shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. But
it was a little low and not really well thought out. But the micro penis one was funny.
Well, but at the same time, one could argue that, you know, hey, you know, Nick likes to be smarmy like that, so, you know.
Yeah, he was doing it the whole fucking time. That's why the guy did it.
Yeah.
He was being a smarmy little prick. And that guy hates him as much as he hates Jews, because that guy, he said he was a Jew, right?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
like, why wouldn't he? And like, you know, the people that don't like Jews, well, why wouldn't they? You know, why would they like you?
Yeah,
they're all surprised the Jews don't like them. It's kind of funny. It's like, why would they? I don't get it.
That's the...
Especially when you say, if you could tell Kanye to walk it back, and you know, anything, would you tell him to walk back any of it? He said none of it. Well, okay, because Kanye walked it all back. So what does that say about you?
Yeah,
you know, Kanye realized that he disgusted people, and actually like was like, oh wow, I probably like, maybe I should watch a movie and laugh about some Jew people, and then realize that I love them again.
Yeah, I think it was like I watched an Adam. No, I watched a Seth Rogen movie.
Yeah, it was 21 Jump Street, you know.
Which, like, Seth, what's amusing about that is, like, Seth Rogen, yes, he's Jewish, but he's not like a practicing Jew, even, really, as far as I know. So
yeah,
but
yeah, so Nick's still stupid, made fool of himself. Anytime you drag that's why I say, like, the reason I asked why would you platform somebody like him, the only reason is, and the good reason is because, like, people can see how stupid you are.
Yeah, and that's my point, because that's my point. I wouldn't have brought this up except for the fact that, like, that this was a big deal, because, like, normies who don't even, who, like, only know Nick through our show because we've talked through him a bit, they're like, oh, like, I had friends texting and they're like, oh, this is that Nick Fuentes guy that you've talked about before.
It's like I say, he wants those kind of people to know who he is, but then he also wants to say the edgiest stuff in the world, and you can't dip into both of those worlds. Richard Spencer found out the same thing. You can't do both. You know, Richard Spencer, what's he doing now? Well, every once in a while they write an article about what he's doing now to make fun of him, and also he owes like $30 million or whatever for Charlottesville. That's what he's doing now. And that's Nick's on the trajectory to the same place, and I hope he gets there quick.
Yeah,
he's a scumbag.
Yeah, he's doing it at a faster rate, I would say. So
about the same speed. Richard Spencer went from nobody to somebody people heard of, to Charlottesville, to court, to owing all of this money in like what, 5 years total?
Yeah,
Nick's been doing this since Charlottesville.
Pretty quick trajectory. So,
yeah, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on his wacky adventures in the real world
Yeah.
where everybody laughs at him.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. That is the fun thing about this now, right? Is like normal people are starting to find out about him, so it's amusing. So, but anyway, I realize we went a little long tonight, but I appreciate you sticking around, Max, and of course the audience. I know that Shmuel lost his voice and went to bed, but we appreciate him.
It was from sucking all that dick, like I said.
Yeah.
Got himself the monkeypox right in his throat.
Yeah.
Boy, he can't talk now.
Should have, maybe he should have worn a mask or something.
Well, how do you suck dick through a mask, Sam?
Good question. I wouldn't know personally, but I'm sure there are people who have tried. So
it's like the new version of ripping the panties, right? You rip the mask.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. But anyway, folks, it's been a good show. We went a little long tonight, but hey, we'll be back next week. People have asked about guests, and I reached out to the Krasensteins, but I haven't heard anything back from them.
We're definitely having your mom on next week.
That would be interesting, considering that she is retiring.
No. You listening right now, you who stayed with us for 3 hours, 21 minutes, and 4 seconds, we're gonna have your mom on next week.
Oh yes. What we're gonna talk? Well, we don't even know who that is, so it should be very interesting.
I know who it is. You know who it is too.
Yeah. So, all right.
Look forward to your mom on the show next week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 12 at heart, baby. I am 12 years old at heart.
I'm still 14 at heart. Let's be honest. So, but anyway, we'll talk to you guys next week, and we'll have your mom on next week.
That's right.
But all right, take care, folks, and talk to you down the road.
Thanks for listening to The Whitfield Report on the NGC Network. Please visit Sam's website at www.thesamwhitfield.com and support Sam on Patreon at patreon.com/Whitfield Report. Until next time, God bless, God save this great nation, and God, freedom, legacy, in that order.